Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm a Boeing 737 pilot and a member of PMDG's tech team. Welcome to today's live stream flying the 737-800 freighter from Prague to Lviv in Ukraine and then back towards Prague. We are joining today's VATSIM event on the same route, designed to bring supplies to Lviv. So we are going to fly a full loaded freighter on the way over, and on the way back we will ferry an empty airplane, providing us with two very different experiences today. One with the airplane being all filled up, the other one with the airplane being pretty much empty. Flight time of today's flight is in the region of about an hour and 10 minutes each, and the event starts in about 25 minutes, so let's go ahead and start with a walk around. And once that is complete, we are going to head over into the flight deck for our pre-flight preparation. And this is today's beauty, that we are going to fly the ASL Boeing 737-800 freighter in the FedEx livery. Note that while the airplane wears the FedEx livery, it is operated by ASL, which is the reason why our call sign today is going to be quality and not FedEx. Starting with a walk around, we are checking the tap probe, checking the pitot probe and the AOA vane. Quick look into the nose wheel, make sure the entire assembly is not damaged, no fluids leaking, and the tires are looking good. And then we can head over to the front. No visible signs of any bird strike damage or anything the likes, so let's go on. And our probes for the first officers and the standby system are looking good. Going on, then we have the door, which is flush, the static ports are looking good, and the oxygen pressure relief disc is showing green. So all the services are here already, including the fuel truck. That's very good. Looking at the leading edges, looking into the air inlet, and there is nothing in there. The air inlet is an especially prone place to birds nesting, so something to have a look at. That does not look very healthy, but I'm just going to ignore that for now. Leading edge of the wing looking good, no signs of a bird strike damage or anything the likes. And the wingtips are looking good as well. We've got two static wick discharges up here, which is what we need. Heading back over along the trailing edge, checking for any signs of bird strike damage or any visible damage whatsoever. The tires are looking good, and we have no visible damage up here as well. Quick look into the wheel well. Over here we will check the hydraulic reservoirs to make sure that there is sufficient fluid quantity in there, and then we can go further towards the aft part of the plane, making sure that we got the most important item in here, which is the pogo stick. We can't dispatch without the pogo stick on board. Then we have the outflow valve, looking good. APU inlet, no damages over there. And the elevator field pitot probe is looking good. No visible damage on the leading edge. We've got three static wick discharges up here on the stabilizer. And then, a little hard to see, but if we go a bit further up, we can actually see them. Up here we've got a set of 4 static wick discharges. Okay, let's go back down to Earth. Tailplane looking good, and now on the other side we're checking pretty much the same stuff we've checked on the other side of the plane. Also a quick look onto the tail skid, making sure that there is no visible scrape marks over there, so that the previous crew did not damage our tail strike our plane. Landing gear is looking good, and we've got no leakages on the front there. Okay, again checking the trailing edge, checking the flaps, checking the lights and the static wick discharges, 2 on the side of the wing. Leading edges, no visible damage, no feathers or anything looking out from anywhere. No scrape marks on the engines, and we'll just forget about that little cone over there. Fan blades, we check the leading edges of every single one of them. and also try to look through the fan blades in the area behind to see if there's any feathers over there or any other signs of a bird strike. Air inlet is looking good. And finally, the front cargo door, still closed at this moment. Let's just take a shortcut down here. Static ports, looking good. And the access door of the air stair is closed. Okay, with that, our airplane is fit to fly. No possible signs of any damages over there, so let's go right into it. And welcome to the cockpit of the 737. And I would like to welcome Mattes as an economy class member into my channel. Welcome. And howdy Kevin, how is it doing in Texas? So, question there in the comments from 5 miles up. Hi, I have a request for today if you are up for it. According to the FCOM, if you depart with the APU as your AC source and then turn it off after departure, the generators should kick online. Can you do that? Well, the FCOM is right, that's how the plane does it. I just see no reason to do it in the simulator. I've tried it earlier in the PMDG and it works indeed, but, well, that's really it about that. Okay, so let's have a look into the flight plan and see what we're up for. As always, I'm using Sim Toolkit Pro for this. So, we'll be the Quality 4024 from Prague to Lviv, planned at flight level 310, which is the optimum today. And looking at the wind, we've got quite a strong tailwind over there, so that's probably the reason why they planned that low flight level. Planned fuel 6.7, let's have a look into the weather and the weather forecast to see if that's really worth it. Okay, looking at the forecast for Lviv. This is from the 12th at 1900. That is not a current forecast. We've got the 8th today. Let's see if we can get anything newer. No meta available. Okay. In other words, there is no weather data published for our destination. Probably due to the ongoing war. And at our alternates, we've got Katowice, which is looking good. Then we've got Tatry, which is good as well. Kosice, however you pronounce that, my apologies, is looking good as well. And finally, Restchov is also good. So I would say we take half an hour extra fuel just in case we encounter anything unforeseen with the weather at our destination airport, because there is just no reliable weather source for Lviv at the moment. So if we take, let's make that 1.2 on top, let's take a block fuel of 8 tons. That should cover us for the flight and cover any eventualities. Okay, so 8 tons is the plan. And before we start with the refueling, let's quickly power up the airplane. We need some basic power to be allowed to refuel. Okay, now we've got power, so let's go ahead and start loading our airplane. We said we need 8 tons of fuel. You can start refueling already. Then, in the main cargo holds, let's take 2,500 in the front. Reduce the capacity, alright. Then 4,500 in the back. Reduce the capacity. In other words, the holds will be entirely full down there. Now let's see how much we can take in the main deck cargo then, and for that we actually have to check the flight plan real quick. Our planned landing weight 66.1, but we've took some extra fuel. Okay, that actually is a problem for the extra fuel, so we can take a maximum of 300 more. Alright, so in that case, yeah, if it comes to it, we just have to divert to the alternate, but I don't want to leave any cargo behind. So let's just take 7 tons of fuel then, and in the worst case, just divert a little bit earlier, if we have to. We still have fuel for pretty much any alternate for that, so... that's what we have. Okay, then let's do a little bit of mathematics there. We're looking at a target zero fuel weight of 62.7, and we have currently loaded 1.9 and 2.4. So empty weight should be somewhere around 42 tons. So let's take 62.7 minus 1.9 for the forward hold, and minus 2.4 for the main hold. And then minus 42 tons empty weight, actually 43 tons for the freighter, if I'm not mistaken. That makes 15.4 for the main cargo hold. So let's go ahead, 15,400 into the main deck. Okay, start loading, start loading, start loading. And that should hopefully be it. Circuits is asking, do the display units behave like that when you power up the aircraft in real life? Yes, absolutely. Okay then, on to the FMC pre-flight. We're going to take the GPS position over here, and we'll fly from LKPR. Request route towards Lviv, please. Select 433 miles. Okay, wait for this to load up. Alex, Captain, any info on the tablet? None that I would be allowed to share, sorry. Okay, route uplink loading. And that's it. Okay, let's find out which runway is in use. We've got an HOTAS on 122.15. Okay, active and monitoring.
Information Romeo. Good afternoon, Ruse 9 ATIS Information Romeo ILS 1737 approach, runway in use 24, transition level 70 meter Praha issued at 1737, wind 160 degrees 5 knots, visibility 6 kilometers moderate rain, scattered at 1,700 feet, broken at 2,000 feet, overcast at 3,500 feet, temperature 4 dew point 3 QNH 0993 hectopascals. You have received ATIS Information Romeo.
Okay, ATIS Information Romeo, QNH 90903. No surprise, we have such bad weather at the moment. Okay then, let's continue with the pre-flight. So we're going to do the VOS for Alpha departure. And for the arrival, I have absolutely no idea what they're going to use today because we don't have current weather information. Zimri planned runway 31, so let's just type that in for now with the DBAT 1 Juliet arrival, and then we'll see about it later on. Okay. Cost NX 30, reserve fuel 3.2. That's quite a bit of reserves there. Then 62.7 in the fuel weight, flight level 310 is the planned level with a wind component of 284, diagonal 66. Okay, transition altitude in the Czech Republic. If anybody knows, please do tell me now, otherwise I need to look it up Well, I need to look it up anyway, so let's just take a quick look into the charts. Here we go, Sim Toolkit, give me this routing please. So, Worksheet J4 Alpha, I hope I pronounced it correctly, and transition altitude is 5,000 down here. So we're gonna take 5,001. And one limit we'll decide later on. Let's see if we've got any engine out procedures here. Oh no, lovely VPT isn't giving me my login data. I need to look it up real quick, sorry. Okay, here we go. So, virtual performance tool, we are going to depart Prague. We are in a 737-800 with winglets, CFM 56, steel brakes. Perfect. So, runway 24, right turn towards Erazu, hold 062 inbound. So, Erazu, hold 062, the opposite of that is 242. So, we're going to insert a 242 radial. And if we're on it already, we can fill out the remainder of the form as well. And we will be using engine anti-ice for the departure. So, performance limited is maximum takeoff weight. And that means we can now enter a little bit more conservative values here. The wind is variable between 110 and 190, so let's use 110 at 5. Calculate that once more, and still we get the max takeoff weight over there. Destination UK LL Lviv onto runway 31, 2.5. Let's just take braking action good, because we don't know what it will actually be. Wind -5, temperature 10, QNH. I'm just going to use 992. That should definitely provide some conservative calculations. And doing this, we end up with maximum structural landing weight limit. Okay, perfect. So that is our FMC setup for now pretty much complete. We can go ahead and do the rest of the cockpit. So, flight level 310. Let's see what the destination elevation is. We can go to the legs page, look at the destination runway, subtract 50 feet. So we're looking at 1,080 feet roundabout. $1,100 should be good enough. Okay, we have maintenance over here. Flight director's on. Quick check of the chart to find out the initial climb. 5,000 feet. And it is an entire arm of departure, okay. So initial climb 5,000, we pre-select 5,001. Heading goes to the runway heading of roughly 240. Courses, let's see what the exact runway heading is. 240, okay. So the courses go to the same, 240 each side. And we've got that now set left. And set right. EFIS control panel set to hectopascals. We'll take a range of 10 miles. Traffic display, airport and terrain can go on. And we'll just pre-select an MFRA in the region 1,000 feet above our departure field elevation. So the departure elevation, as we can see on the altimeter, is 1,150. So let's pre-select 2,150 on the minimums for our minimum flap retraction altitude. In case you're wondering, the reason we use the minimum selector here is because we want to have quick reference to the altitude where we are going to accelerate and retract the flaps in case we have an engine failure on the takeoff. So we are going to calculate the exact value during the takeoff performance calculation. However, we are going to set roughly 1,000 feet above the departure field elevation during the pre-flight, because that is the default value that the airlines usually aim for. Altimeter 993, and then we can do a light test here as well, see if everything works, or if there's any problems with the light bulbs. So now we're checking pretty much every single one of those lights in the cockpit up here. Quite important to check the crossfeed valve open light illuminates as well after we've done the crossfeed valve check, because in the 737NG the light is tied to the same circuit breaker as the system. So if you were to close the valve and the valve fails and trips the circuit breaker at that very moment, you would basically see the same indication as if the system was operating normally. That's why it's important to check the light after you have done the check of the crossfeed system. Personally, I always like to dim the lights to somewhere around the middle in the simulation. In the real airplane, I'm a big fan of maximum brightness, but in Flight Simulator, due to all the oversaturation, I really like something down here in the middle, and this is closer to the maximum brightness in real life anyway. Okay, so next up we can put the initial climb clearance of 5,000 into the legs page as well, and going down. Frequencies we'll do later on, because I don't want any disturbing ATC right now. And then we can tune 116.95 active and 112.6 standby on the radios. So 116.95, you can go active, and standby we will take 11260, and the same on the other end side, so that we have conventional backup should we need it. Making sure the audio panel is set up correctly. On the ground we want VHF1, the flight interphone, which is where we talk to the ground crew during pushback, and of course during the flight to our colleague, and the same on the first officer's side as well, even though this would be the FO's responsibility. We don't need the ADF, trims are centered, and that is pretty much it. Checking the oxygen pressure on the overhead over here, that the needle doesn't move more than 100 psi while we do the check, and that should be mostly it. Okay, so that's the setup mostly complete. Let's go ahead and do a quick departure briefing then. Threats for the departure, I don't really see a lot of them. In fact, I don't really see any of them. So let's go ahead and conduct a route check. Lima Kilo Papa Romeo towards Uniform Kilo Lima Lima, and we are the Tango Alpha Yankee 4024. Routing is going to lead us via Victor Oscar Zulu, and then we proceed. Direct Lixa, direct Valpi, direct Malbi, Papa 27 Victor India und Quebec 560 towards Coop for the DBET 1 Juliet arrival. That's an interesting routing there, but if Simbri thinks that we are going to do it that way, then we can still check it en route. So that looks good. Distance is 552, and on the flight plan 482. Where does the difference come from? That's the good question now. Runway 24, runway 31. That should all be pretty much as expected. Okay, well, let's check on the plan display, if there's anything visible here. Okay, that looks interesting. Oh yeah. Okay, that explains the extra miles. So we have Coco twice. Then let's take this. 472 versus flight plan distance 482. That makes sense now. Okay, UTC time 11:10, altimeter 993, reading 1140, MFRA 2150, flight directors are on and the master is on my side. Left seat takeoff, runway 24, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure number 2, and we are going to use engine anti-ice. Engine out procedure, immediate right-hand turn towards Erasu, pick up the hold over there. Emergencies. Above 80 knots, I will only reject for fire or fire warning, engine failure, predictive wind shear warning, aircraft unable or unsafe to fly. If I call stop, I simultaneously close the thrust lever and disengage the auto throttle. Apply maximum manual braking, verify operation of the RTO auto brakes, manually raise the speed brake lever, and apply max reverse thrust. When the aircraft comes to stop, we'll set the park and brake. Now the FO continues. If you call stop, I will note the brakes on speed and call speed brakes up or speed brakes not up, call thrust reverse normal or abnormal indications, and verify your actions. I call any omissions and select flap 40 when the brake has been set and advise ATC of the reject. We then identify the failure and carry out any drills as appropriate. If we decide to evacuate the aircraft, we do the evacuation checklist. Time permitting, we will pull the CVR circuit breaker. Okay then, let's continue with our taxi. We are currently parking on the cargo apron up here, and we will not need de-icing, so we can taxi directly to runway 24. That's going to be a very short taxi today. Departure Victor Oscar Zulu 4 Alpha on a chart 10-3 hotel. Speed max 250 below flight level 100. And looking into the FMC, we have 250 below flight level 100. Then, for the route, initial climb clearance 5000, we've pre-selected that once and twice. Now looking at the route itself, continue on the runway track 240 until Papa Romeo 402, left turn 148, 12.3 nautical miles, towards Papa Romeo 403, track 122, 18.8, Papa Romeo 404, track 117, 15.2, towards Victor Oscar Zulu. Victor Oscar Zulu is set active on the radios. It is an RNAV departure, so we do not have any conventional backup. So in case we lose RNAV capability, we are going to ask for radar vectors from ATC. Highest MSA 4,000 feet, so in case of engine failure, climb 4,000. Initial climb is 5, so we should be above that already. After takeoff, immediately contact Prague radar. No, actually, after takeoff, contact Prague radar when instructed by the tower. Okay. So we are going to get a handoff. And that is the departure briefing complete. Do you have any questions? Okay, couple of questions in the chat I see. And CD Racer, hi Emmanuel, quick question. How do you know the exact zero fuel weight and zero fuel weight CG in the real aircraft? Well, we get a load information document and we are going to type that into the... We got a load information document and we're going to type that into the onboard performance tool, and that is going to calculate all those values for us. And what happens when there is additional passengers or cargo? Well, if it is additional weight up to 1 ton, then we can look into the flight plan and we can see it down here in the operational impact section. At the very bottom over here we can see a weight change up 1 ton. We're going to need 119 kilos extra fuel and we're going to take 1 minute longer. So if it is up to 1 ton extra, then we can just use those values to modify our trip fuel and the required block fuel, and then we can go. And if the weight exceeds more than 1 ton extra, then we just have to request a new flight plan from our airline. Hi Metaleye and Ali, thank you very much. Have a nice flight. Well, hopefully you too. Okay, so let's see how the boarding is currently progressing, or rather the loading. The main deck is full. And the lower decks are full as well. Okay, now comes a big surprise. 59.3 versus 62.7. Okay, we take that, and it makes a gross weight of 66.4 tons. Alright, so let's take the performance tool and takeoff dispatch. We have 60, what's that, 6400. Calculate that please. 24k at 40 degrees. Okay, and there is no reason not to do that, so let's go ahead. 24k at 40 degrees, 90.0 versus 89.2, close enough. Then it is a flap 5 takeoff. We'll take the CG from here, 5 units of trim, and we will have wet takeoff speeds. So wet speeds, and they are 135, 143, 137. The FMC speed are within 1 knot, so we can take the FMC speed and 146 into the V2, and that's it. The MFRA is 2234, and that completes the performance calculations. So 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Okay, start the APU. Then we can already close up. Let's do the safety inspection checklist and before start checklist down to PA. Services and shocks checked, maintenance status checked, battery on, electric hydraulic pumps on, landing gear lever down, ship's library checked, IRS mode selectors, nav, gear pins, 1, 2, 3 removed, light test checked, oxygen test 100%, yaw damper on, nav transfer display switches, normal and auto. Fuel, we have 7,000 kilograms on board, and we require 6,676 with 4 pumps on. Cabin utility IFE on, emergency exit lights armed, fasten belts on, window heat on, air conditioning pressurization, PAX auto, bleeds on, set. Pressurization mode selector, auto, instruments, cross-checked, auto brakes, RTO, hydraulics, we check down here, we check the brake pressure, and we check the indications up here and the pumps are on, so hydraulics normal. Speed brake, down detent, parking brake set, stop jump cutout switches, normal, wheel by fire warning, checked, radius, radar and transponder, set and standby, rudder and aileron trims, 3 and 0, take a briefing discussed, PA complete, FMC CDU. Well, let's quickly remove this. Okay, FMC CDU set, M1 and IS bucks, automatic, reduce 24K, speeds 135, 143, 146, check up here as well, and set. Stop trim, 5 units, set. Then, performance weight balance, signed send, phones off, EFB, airplane mode stowed, flight to windows and cockpit door locked, doors closed, passengers seated, before start checklist complete down to the line. Okay, with that we are pretty much prepared for our departure, so let's go ahead and get the pushback clearance, and at the same time we can already go ahead and grab our IFR clearance as well, and prepare GSX for the pushback. What did I do now? Oh, restart please. Okay, that's gonna take a second now. Then Boeing versus Airbus asked, "Hi, are you guys aware of the parking brake glitch in the Sim Update 12 beta?" Yeah, absolutely, but you know, it is a beta, so bugs are to be expected in those. Okay, GSX, prepare for pushback and departure. Handling by, check airlines handling, and then we have ground online on 1 to 1.9. We don't need de-icing. Within ground, good evening, quality 4024, information Romeo, request clearance to Lviv.
Quality 4024, Rosé ground, hello, good evening, information, Kilo is currently QNH994, time check 07, clear to destination, Lviv via Victor Oscar Zulu, Vožice for Alpha, departure, initial climb altitude 5,000 feet, squawk 1423, start up approved.
Quality 4024, we'll check the information, Kilo, QNH994, time check 07, cleared destination Lviv, Victor Oscar Zulu for Alpha departure, climb 5,000 feet, squawk 1423.
Exactly correct.
Okay, so squawk 1423. 3, climbing 5,000 feet, and then in here we have runway 24, Victor Oscar Zulu for Alpha departure.
International 16 Mike, cruising ground, hello. Unfortunately, I do not see your flight plan.
Quality 4024, request pushback.
Quality 4024, scope mode on and pushback approved.
We'll flick on the squawk machine, pushback approved, quality 4024. Okay, let's go with the nose to the right hand side.
Okay, Fox requesting clearance to Lviv file information kilo.
Sky up to 7 Foxtrot cruising ground.
Before start checklist below the line. Air compacts off, anti-collision light on, parking brake set, transponder out off, before start checklist complete. And with that, we have a master caution, air conditioning, dual bleed, disregard that. Brakes off. No GSX, we don't have icing conditions and we are not going to stand by for engine start. Sometimes I really wonder how GSX figures out their stuff.
Information is correct. Departing runway 24 via Victor Oscar Zulu for Alpha, initial climb 5,000 feet, QNH 994.
Respect correct, start approved.
Okay, up to 7 Foxes and up approved.
Ground tower is control 1 Delta, and 1-4 with information kilo requesting a focus to destination.
Okay, there are 2 stations calling, so you can international 16 Mike, are you ready to copy clearance?
Jacob is asking in the comments, I've been having issues with the throttle splitting during takeoff and descent with the 900 ER. Has anyone else seen that? Actually, I have not. Sorry. Okay, we're clear of the red line. Let's go ahead and start engine number 2. Timing. N2. All pressure. N1.
International 16 Mike, respect correct, start approved.
Set parking brakes.
Okay, 25%.
Unlocking gear.
Valves are operating.
Cruiser ground, Pedro 1 Delta, Echo, znovu pěkný večer, stání 1-4 information kilo, requesting a focus to destination.
Pedro 1 Delta, dobrý večer, Cruiser ground, info kilo correct, QNH 994, time check 10. Skytrail 1 Delta Echo clear to destination call via Bal 25 Alpha departure, initial climb 5000.
Starter cutout, monitor 2, starting 1.
Information kilo,
So, 2, 4, 6, 3, engine number 2 is stable. And then we have N2, all pressure, N1,
Respect correct.
%, fuel on, make sure the valves are operating.
Ground, dobrý večer, GSB 829, radio check.
GSB 829, dobrý večer, Cruiser ground, radio 5.
Ground, GSB 829, information kilo, QNH.
Starter cutout, monitor 1, 2, 4, 6, 3, number 1 stable.
Info kilo correct, QNH 994, time check 12, clear to
Okay, where and how is the ground crew? They are gone, okay.
Clear to Vojtica, information kilo is correct. Vojtica for Alpha departure, squawk 1430, and start approved, GSB 829.
GSB 829, confirm clear to Lviv.
Okay, flight controls, up, down, left, right, right. Before taxi checklist, generators on, APU off, start switches continuous, probe heat on, anti-ice on, air conditioning, Packs auto, bleeds on, isolation move, auto, flaps, 5 required, 5 selected, and a green light. Stop trim 5 units required, 5 units set, start leave idle detent, flight controls checked, recall checked, before taxi checklist complete.
Povolení do destinace před Dobem 4 Alfa, vzletová počáteční stoupání 5000, stop, squawk 1000, VNH 9, 24, Vizer 654.
Vizer 654, to správně.
Quality 4024, request taxi.
Taxi stand 60, facing to runway.
Quality 4024, taxi to Honeycomb runway 24 via Tango Alpha.
Taxi 100.24 via Tango Alpha, quality 4024. Okay, we can see Tango up there and Alpha is straight ahead. Brakes off, and config checked. Clear on the left, clear on the right. Okay then, Alpha is to the right. Then let's do the before takeoff checklist down to the line. Config, check, flaps, 5, 5, green light, stop trim, 5 units set, takeoff briefing, left seat takeoff, runway 24, packs, auto bleeds on, anti-ice on, takeoff speeds, 135, 142, 146 set, and sit straight ahead for about 10 miles, then we do a left turn out, we contact departure when advised by ATC. Emergencies, we make an immediate right-hand turn towards that waypoint, and we've got the holding entered on the fixed page with right-hand turns, climbing 4,000 feet, which is the MSA as well. Okay, cabin, secure, before takeoff checks complete to the line.
4024, contact Rusnia Tower, 134, decimal 550, bye-bye.
134 decimal 550, quality 4024, thank you very much, bye-bye. Okay, I'm just quickly steering the airplane first, because I just can't reach down to the radio right now, since we're basically doing turns all over. Okay then, 134.55. And departure is going to be 127575. Xenia Tower, good evening, quality 4024, ready for departure.
Quality 4024, Rusnia Tower, hello Emmanuel, runway 24, clear for takeoff, wind 160 degrees, 5 knots.
Runway 24, clear for takeoff, quality 4024, hello Jan. Okay, confirm readback. Runway 24, cleared for takeoff. Affirm. Before takeoff checklist below the line. MCP. Set. Transponder. Tara. Strobe lights on. Landing lights on. Before takeoff checklist complete.
Sky up 27 Foxtrot, Rusnia Tower, good evening. Number 2 for departure, behind departing, quality Boeing 738, line up runway 24 and wait behind.
Yes, Sky up 27 Foxtrot, we are number 2 for departure, after departing Boeing 738, line up runway 24.
Timing. Stabilized. Set takeoff thrust. Takeoff thrust set, indications normal. $80 knots. Checked. V1. Rotate. Gear up. Positive rate.
Sky up 27 Foxtrot, line up runway 24 and wait.
LNAV.
Line up and wait, runway 24, Sky requested, bearing 74.
Quality 4024, contact the radar 127.575. Enjoy your flight, bye-bye.
127.575, quality 4024, thank you, bye. Okay, back up. Flaps 1, speed check, flap 1. Flaps up, speed check, flaps up. Radar get evening, quality 4024, passing 3600, climbing 5000, Victor Oscar Zulu 4, Alpha departure.
Quality 4024, hello, radar identified, climb flight level 160.
Climb flight level 160, quality 4024. Set, 160 checked. Command A. Flaps up, no lights. VNAV. Alt intervent. Okay, set full climb thrust. Full climb thrust coming, set standard. Passing 5-3, climbing 160 after takeoff checklist.
Okay, 4024, proceed direct Valpay.
Proceed direct Valpay, quality 4024. Okay, execute. LNAV available. LNAV. Okay, after takeoff checklist. Air condition and pressurization 2.3, climbing. Set. We'll keep the anti-ice on for now. Altimeters. Standard, passing 80, climbing 160. After takeoff checklist complete. And we'll release the supernumeraries that may be accompanying our cargo over here. And with that, we are now settled in for the flight. Okay, speed intervent in order to prevent the acceleration as long as we are still in the turn over here. Otherwise, when the plane starts accelerating, it would overshoot the turn, which would result in like an S-turn to re-intercept the track.
4024, contact radar frequency 127.125, good day.
127.125, quality 4024, good day. Okay, accelerating. Radar, good evening, quality 4024, passing flight level 111, climbing 160 in Mount Valpi.
Quality 4024, hello, identified, flight level 300.
Climb flight level 300, quality 4024. Set. 300 checked, VNAV. And we are passing level 105, climbing 300, 10 checks. Fuel, balanced. 4 pumps on, lights off, APU off, air condition and pressurization 3.9, climbing, and set. Fasten belts, remain on for now, recall, checked, monitoring 1 to 1.5.
Transition level 70 meter Praha issue.
No, that's the HOTAS.
Wind 160 degrees 5 knots. Visibility 6 kilometers light rain.
Here we go, 1 to 1.5. Okay, 10 checks complete. So that was quite a bit of stuff happening there on the departure, but overall, I tend to say it was quite doable. So we'll keep the anti-ice on until we are passing through the clouds over there, because pilots are generally lazy. Of course, we could get a tiny bit better climb performance by turning the anti-ice off now and turning back on over there, but believe me, when you ask your colleague to turn the anti-ice off, the colleague looks outside and sees that he has to turn it back on in like 20 seconds, then he's just going to look strange at you and probably not going to do anything. And Christopher in the comments, engine start switch still in continuous. Yes, my friend, that's on purpose, because the anti-ice is still on, and we don't have an auto position on these start switches.
Cleared Washington for Sierra arrival CSA 676.
Alright, so with that we are finally on the way. Electrox Soldier is asking, would you ever consider being a cargo pilot, or do you prefer the passenger pilot experience? Honestly, for me it doesn't matter too much what is on the other side of the flight deck door, but what does matter to me is that when flying cargo you do almost exclusively night flying, at least with the majority of airlines here in Europe. So for that reason I prefer flying passengers, because you normally fly in the daylight hours. Of course, going long haul, that is something different, but over there you only do like 3 or 4 night flights, basically 1 per rotation per month, and that is okay for me. Unlike when flying cargo, like when flying these guys over here, then you will be flying almost exclusively at night, so I don't really like that, and for that reason I prefer flying passengers over flying cargo. Apart from that, from the kind of operation, cargo would probably even be more interesting. By the way, this looks a little turbulent there. Quality 4024, request heading 090 to avoid weather.
Prague, hello,
Yeah, screw it. Heading select. Not going to fly into that CB over there. Quality 4024, request heading 090 to avoid weather.
Quality 4024, second request.
Heading 090 to avoid weather. What? Sorry, say again.
Quality 4024 for heading 090.
Thank you, heading 090, quality 4024. We'll call you back in about 10 miles. Yeah, even without a weather radar and even when flying cargo, you don't have to go into the really big boys, do you? Like, this looks like it could get a little rough, so I'm just keeping a little bit of distance from there, and just take that little left turn. Circuits, would pilots do that in real life, not wait for ATC in such situations? Yes, absolutely. In real life, of course, we would have weather radar, so we would have been able to see that CB earlier and ask for the heading earlier. It looked pretty close to me right now, and for that reason I just started the turn. I checked TCAS, make sure there was no traffic over there, and if he told us unable, then I would just have returned to the route. But especially when it's full on a frequency, safety of flight always has priority, so if you need to take the plane off the route before you can reach ATC, then you have to do it. And AJ Fernery, the cargo may not complain, but the plane still will. Yep, that's exactly it. And Wintersplash, switch to weather instead of terrain, no? In real life, yes. In real life, the way we do it is the captain always has the weather radar on and the first officer always has the terrain display on. Unless the specific situation demands different. For example, if you know that you have good weather and you're approaching a mountainous area, the captain can switch to terrain as well, just like when you're approaching through thunderstorms, the captain can go, the FO can go to weather as well. By the way, it looks like we're pretty much clear of that CB, so quality 4024, clear of weather.
Quality 4024, roger, navigation to Baltic.
Direct Baltic, quality 4024. Okay, execute, LNAV available, LNAV. So yeah, you're right there in that normally I should be on the weather display over here. However, since that is inoperative, I rather use the terrain display because that provides me with some useful information and thereby That's the reason why I'm not on the weather radar display over here. Of course, if we had a working weather radar, I would have it selected here as well. Okay, temperatures below -40. That means we can switch the anti-ice off. From -40 degrees onwards, any moisture that is, or any water that is left in the clouds is so deeply frozen that it cannot attach to your aircraft anymore, so it's just going to bounce off. And for that reason, you can switch the anti-ice off then. Big Mac, have you noticed the nose wheel steering there is weird since the last update? If I turn the nose wheel all the way, the plane stops turning. Yeah, that's a known MSFS bug, unfortunately. But it did that prior to the last update already as well. It did that ever since the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 updates or something like that. It's unfortunately a bug we have to live with in Microsoft Flight Simulator, but what you can do to work your way around that bug, with the nose wheel steering becoming less effective when you do full input, is that you can just pump the rudders a tiny bit close to maximum deflection. Basically, you only lose the steering effectiveness when you have a steady full input. If you vary between like 95 and 99% all the time, then you should have a more or less constant, more or less full input. That's a little annoying, unfortunately, but welcome to the world of Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Quality 4024, contact Prague,
133-425, quality 4024, bye bye. Hi, good evening, quality 4024, climbing flight level 300 in Lviv.
Quality 4024, hello, climb level 310.
Climb flight level 310, quality 4024. Set, 310 checked. And then we have 310 set once, twice, and 3 times. Monitoring 1 to 1.5. Very quick check on the flight plan, making sure that 310 actually is a good cruising level for us. However, when SimBrief plans that, then normally it is, as it already says, planned optimum flight level there. And then, if we have a look into the wind data block, we should probably see the reason why. Looking at Valpy, wind is pretty much the same in flight level 330, but starts getting less in flight level 350. And looking at the next waypoint, Malby, we can see the wind is much less already in just 2,000 feet higher. So we're going to stay at flight level 310 for the cruise. That should make our life a lot easier. For those of you following the channel closely, you will be wondering why I haven't switched to vertical speed mode just now as we approached the cleared flight level, and the reason is we recently had a change in SOP. The 3-to-1 rule is only applicable below flight level 300 nowadays. If we are above flight level 300 and approaching a cleared altitude, they want us to maintain VNAV speed, but have a look on the TCAS to check if there is any traffic 1,000 feet above our cleared level. If there is traffic above, reduce the vertical speed. If there is not, then just maintain VNAV for the climb. The reason we've had this change of SOP is because a couple guys messed it up and, for example, selected vertical speed 3000 at really high levels, and then they lost airspeed and got into an airspeed low situation. And to prevent that from happening, we've changed that SOP now. It made things a little bit more complex once again, but that's the way it is. And concept. 239 miles to the top of descent. Maybe we can start with a quick look at our destination, making sure that we actually have a good route in there. So, here's what I'll do. I'm not all that familiar with the area we're currently flying through, at least on this particular route, so let's see, FIR boundaries are going to be Valpy and then later on Malby. Okay, so we'll take both waypoints. Valpy, fix page 1. Malby, fix page 2. And then fix page 3, runway 31.
27 Foxtrot, proceed direct next here.
Alright, like that we can now see the boundaries to the next FIR on our navigation display, which makes it a bit easier to estimate when we might get a frequency change. So over here I expect one change towards Bratislava, and then over here I expect a change towards Lviv radar. That's something that we normally do on all routes. However, personally, I tend to forget about that when I'm flying in an airspace that I'm familiar with, which is most of Europe at the moment. Only this route down here through the Czech Republic and then through the Bratislava FIR is something that I'm not too familiar with, because prior to the conflict, when we flew to Ukraine, we always flew the route through Poland and not down through the Czech Republic. Alright, so very quick check to be sure we get the most accurate top of descent later on then. So I would say we seem to be pretty much number 1 in the queue over here. So from Kokup, if we just go direct Lima Lima 103, that should provide us with like the shortest possible routing. And if we do that, we get a Kokup restriction at pretty much 8,000 feet. So let's make that 8,040 up there a hard altitude. And then we should be covered and can lose the rest of the altitude using the speed brake if we have to. AJ Fernery, thank you very much for the $5 donation. Next coffee on me. Tell the destination airport to bill company for the landing fee. Love your streams and educational videos. Thank you very much, AJ. That is very much appreciated. 737NG123. Hello, what does FPV mean on the EFIS control panel? You mean the FPV switch up here? And that basically shows the flight path vector on the primary flight display. The flight path vector is quite similar to the flight path symbol on the HUD, but it tells you on your artificial horizon over here where you're going. So quite useful when you're flying manually and, for example, try to follow a 3-degree path. Just place that symbol over here, down there on the 3 degrees, and then you know where you're going. Airbus pilots love these things. Personally, I don't really like it too much because I just prefer to go the conventional way. Direct Malbec quality 4024, thank you. Okay, Malbec, that looks good. Execute. LNAV available. LNAV. And then, it's always a good idea when you're flying off track from your flight plan, just to put a beamline in here, so that you still know where the FIR boundary is. And Skyflyer Dan, the bird. Yep, that's exactly the Airbus version of the flight path vector, the bird. Okay, Serhan, hello Captain. Do you know that PMDG simulated any engine ice situation? I mean, if we do not activate anti-ice, will we have problems? To be honest, I don't really think so. However, I forgot to activate anti-ice quite a couple of times already, even when we had visual ice accumulation on the wipers in real life, and we've never had any problems with the engines. So, honestly, unless you probably fly through severe icing, I don't think you're going to encounter any problems if you forget about the anti-ice. Of course, that is easier said than done. There have been accidents because anti-ice has been forgotten by the pilots. But you know, in the vast majority of situations, you are normally going to be fine. Which, of course, still is the reason why down here on the descent checklist we have the anti-ice on it. And that's exactly because when you have to do the approach briefing in the descent, because you get an early descent or whatsoever, you might be descending into the clouds and yeah, be busy with other stuff. Your colleague might be busy as well as you are briefing and he's listening to your plan, and that's how it might easily happen that you forget about the anti-ice. That's why we cover it on the descent checklist there, to make sure that it is still turned on, well, better late than never. Then, level success, asked a little bit earlier, would you ever consider using the Zebo in X-Plane? Well, first of all, thank you for the compliments next to the question. And secondly, would I...
Quality 402 for contact Mercedes Lava Radar 134.475, goodbye.
134.475, quality 4024, bye. Bratislava Radar, good evening, quality 4024, flight level 310 in Mount Malby.
Quality 4024, hello, Bratislava identified.
Okay, that was easy. So, back to the question, would I ever consider using the Zebo in X-Plane? If I ever happen to get around to use X-Plane again, then yes. At the moment, I'm not really a big fan of X-Plane because, first of all, I just can't get my head around the interface. Secondly, I have severe performance problems with it, and at the moment I just don't want to invest the time into studying how to adjust all those X-Plane settings to finally get some good performance out of it. And yeah, for those reasons, if I ever happen to get my head around X-Plane, I promise I'll have a look at the Zebo, but that is not very likely to happen at the moment. Especially since I will probably be using the Airbus a little bit more in the future. So, for that reason, yeah. As said, if I get to use X-Plane again, then I'll have a look at the Zebo as well. But in the meantime, Flight Deck to Sim is doing quite a bit of stuff with it, and he's really happy with it. So I tend to say it is a very good plane, because I really trust what Flight Deck to Sim says. He's a very, very good guy. Alexei, do pilots always keep 400 kilos of fuel in the center tank even when they don't require to fill the center tank at all, or is it okay with 0 kilos? It is absolutely okay with 0 kilos, you don't need any fuel in the center tank at all. WS787, can passengers feel the acceleration or deceleration of the aircraft during final approach in windy conditions, such as airspeed increases or decreases for the same engine power? Well, they can't feel the acceleration or deceleration that you see on the speed indicators, but they can feel the bumps that the airplane encounters when it hits those winds. So they will feel turbulent, they will be thrown around in the plane, but they will not really feel like acceleration or deceleration. You have to keep in mind here, the airplane doesn't accelerate or decelerate. It is only the relative air mass that moves relative to the plane that accelerates or decelerates. So there is no real acceleration or deceleration there in those conditions. Okay, we're passing a beam Valpy. Let's go ahead and do a quick fuel check, see what we have. So, Valpy, we should have taken 25 minutes and we took 24. We should have 4.7 tons of fuel on board and 2,000 burned. That is 3,150 on board there, and we've earned 1,850. Okay, makes sense. Tiny bit ahead of the plan. Probably used less taxi fuel as well, since it was a very short taxi. So that is absolutely good. And AJ Fernery, new sub-channel A330 driver. Yeah, that's probably gonna happen one day. Well, hopefully. Lucas, did I ever fly with Flight Deck to Sim in real life? I didn't fly with him, but he was instructor for one session in my type rating indeed. So yeah, I know the guy, even though he's probably not gonna recognize me anymore 5 years later, but I know the guy. ALB aviation, and will the fuel pumps get damaged if I forget to turn off the center pumps when approaching 0 kilos? That depends on the type of pump that you have installed. Pretty much all modern 737s have fuel pumps with an automatic shut-off feature. So basically when the low pressure light comes on, the pump is going to shut off automatically. Now, in the PMDGs, that feature is installed by default and is not deselectable in the options. So that feature is always installed, the pumps with the automatic shut-off. If you have an aircraft that does not have automatic shut-off, then you might actually damage the pumps, or even worse, pump air into the fuel system if you keep them on while the tanks are running dry. However, as said, in the PMDG, that's not really a problem, because I wouldn't know any operator of 737s that doesn't have fuel pumps with the automatic shut-off feature nowadays. I believe they are all installed, and I believe Boeing even made that retrofit mandatory there. The Winter Splash asked a little bit earlier, why is there a cross symbol drawn on the course selectors? So with that, you're referring to the symbol on the buttons up here, so that everybody understands. And, well, that is just because this cross symbol looks a little bit like the needles of a conventional HSI course indicator. So that's just what it tries to symbolize. And it also serves a little bit as a reminder to the pilot that they are changing the course over here and not, for example, the heading or the altitude, because if you look at the knobs, they look pretty similar, so just by touching the knob it might be easy to mistake them for one another. And when you are flying the 20th sector at 3 AM in the morning on the 5th day in the row, then yeah, it might happen that you confuse the different switches. I believe it happened like once or twice to me. But every time spotted it the moment I did it wrong. But you know, there will be a moment eventually when you forget about it and when you don't spot the error, so that's why a little bit of additional hint is definitely something good there. Andrea, do you have steel brakes on the 737s you fly in real life? On the NGs, yes. On the Max, we have carbon brakes. Randy, hello Captain. In real life, Copa Airlines operates a flight from Panama City to Buenos Aires in the Boeing 737-800, but SimBrief always tells me that the range of the aircraft has been exceeded. Well, check your payload. If you're loading the airplane too heavy, then you might not be able to make it. I don't remember off the head right now how far that distance is, but maybe check as well if they have aux tanks fitted, or if they have auxiliary fuel tanks fitted to their 737s. That might be an option as well. Apart from that, probably they just don't fly with as much payload. Keep in mind, for the default SimBrief profiles that everybody is using, for every passenger, there's also a 23 kilo bag added, which makes a lot of cargo weight, which is the reason why the zero fuel weights you get from SimBrief are often a lot higher than the zero fuel weights we are using in real life. For comparison, at typical payload, somewhere in the region 160 to 180 passengers, our zero fuel weight in the 737-800 is in the region between 56 and 58 tons. Compared to that, many flight simmers fly their plane at 63 to 65 tons zero fuel weight. So that's a huge difference, and of course that is extra fuel burn then, which might very well make the difference. Eduard, hi, when will you have an EFB? Well, I have an EFB, but it's in beta and I'm not allowed to talk any more about it. My apologies for that. Man, it's gone quiet here. Quality 4024, radio track on 134.475.
Quality 4024, 5x5, sir.
Thank you. Okay, I guess then there is just no other aircraft flying around us. Felix Haller, I always get confused when I have multiple ILS options on approach like ILS Yankee, Zulu or X-Ray. In Frankfurt it's mentioned in the HOTAS. Which one should I use if it's not mentioned? In most places in Europe, it is the ILS Zulu approach that you can expect. In some places where they have different approaches available, like for example in Rome Fiumicino or Rome Ciampino, they are going to mention on the HOTAS which approach you can expect. But in most places you can expect the Zulu approaches. And level success. SAS used to operate a BVJ from Stavanger to Houston. That aircraft was actually operated by Private Air. I'm flying with one former Private Air captain now, who's flown those routes. And he says it was a great operation. Therefore, Private Air has also flown 737 BVJs in a full business class configuration for Lufthansa. And he's told me a story once that they have been approaching somewhere in the US under a Lufthansa call sign. And the controllers basically expected a 747 because they just looked at the flight script and saw Boeing 7 and then they knew Lufthansa had 747, so okay, it had to be 747. And then the Private Air 737 came out of the clouds and the controllers immediately screamed go around into the microphone because they just thought like, where on earth did that plane come from? And yeah, then they had to go around and come back, and at the end the controller apologized, and a subsequent investigation actually revealed that the controller had the bias that it was a 747 to come there, but when the 737 came out of the clouds at low level, the controller really expected the worst there, thinking that a Lufthansa 74 would drop out those clouds just behind him. Alright, we are slowly nearing our destination. Let's have a listen into the HOTAS 128625. Okay, information Lima, the wind 180 at 4 meters per second, that equals 8 knots, and visibility more than 10, Carvok, temperature 4, transition level 120, I've put that into the FMS already, and QNH 1002. Perfect, so runway 13 it's going to be, so let's quickly reprogram the FMS for that. ILS 13 then. For the arrival, let's see what it's gonna be. They've planned a DBET arrival. Let's just take DBET to hotel and then see what that turns into. So after Spitta we go towards DBET. And then let's see, if we turn directly to the final from DBET, which altitude do we need? $8,700, okay, so we're gonna make those 9,030 hard over here, then we can fly a straight in approach if we have to. Villa the Dude, why is the ATC volume so low? Well, the HOTAS just was still quite far away, so that's why it was quite distorted and quite quiet. But that's normal, don't worry about that. So, ILS approach runway 13 over there. Let's have a look into the approach charts for that. And then maybe have a look into the taxi charts as well and get the parking charts ready. So, 109.5 on a course of 130. And we have an airport VOR 15.5, which we can tune as well. Okay, that's the nav setup. The minimums on this one, 1328. Set and QNH 1002 pre-selected. Okay, ready for the approach briefing. Threats for the arrival. Yeah, shortcuts from air traffic control and the possibility of them speaking local language. So we often hear Russian in Ukraine, and we often hear Ukrainian on the radios. So just be careful with that. Apart from that, don't really see any problems there. Okay, by the way, is that DBAT arrival correct that I just entered? No, we're coming from Svita. I think we need to check something over there. For the arrival, we're coming from Svita towards Kokup. Okay, so we actually got to use a Kokup arrival. Let's see. Can you show me this on the map, please? I think it's still showing. Ah, that's better. Kokup to hotel. Yeah, that sounds reasonable to me. And then of course runway 13, and we can select the ILS approach. Okay, so let's just reprogram that. ILS 13, Kokup to hotel, no transition. What does it look like now? Svita to Kokup, that was correct according to the en route chart. Okay, yeah, it's not gonna get any more direct than this. Okay, so we can pretty much leave it like this. Then we take 250 knots below 10,000 feet, forecast page filled in, fixed rings runway 13, 10 miles, 4 miles. And for the arrival we have the Kokup to hotel. At least we should have that. Why does it still give me another star? Open the chart, please. Ah, okay, because I'm not looking right. Fair enough. So, speed max to 20 from Lima Whiskey 001. So 001, 220 is in there. Speed restrictions are always mandatory unless cancelled by ATC. Okay, so Kokup above 8040 towards Lima Lima Whiskey 01, max 220 above 4930, Lima Lima 303 above 2960, Lima Lima 302 above 2470, Lima Lima 301 at 2470. Okay, we want to make this a CDA, so let's make this an above restriction. And I want 180 knots or less at 302, which is here. Okay. From there we join the ILS approach, which is on chart 11-1, frequency is 109.5, set active on nav1 and nav2. Final approach course is 130, set both sides. Elevation 1077, 1100 selected. MSA 3000. Starting the approach at 4.4 miles, that's Lima Lima 301. In 2470. 3-degree glide down to the minimum of 1328, and we have 1328 selected now. Missed approach. Climb on 130 degrees until 2960, then turn right to the VOR, and then according to the charter as directed.
Quality 4024, contact Lviv radar, frequency is 134.05.
134.05, quality 4024, see ya. Okay, 134.05. Lviv radar, good evening, quality 4024, flight level 310, inbound Malbi, request descent.
Quality 4024, hello, Lviv radar contact, descent to flight level 230.
Descent flight level 230, quality 4024. Set, 230 checked. Speed intervent, and down we go. Okay,
Quality, correction, quality 4024, you're cleared via Cockcoop to hotel transition, expect ILS approach runway 13.
Cockhook to hotel transition, expect ILS 13, quality 4024. Entering some clouds, let's put the anti-ice on first of all. And then Cockhook to hotel, that is exactly what we've programmed. Okay, perfect. So what else can we do? Some landing data then. For diversion we need 3.2 tons of fuel. We have 4.2 on the arrival, that is 25 minutes of extra fuel. We're now burning 300, that is a landing weight of 63.5. Okay, 63.5. Let's do a little bit of mathematics over here. Landing en route. Lviv 13, 2.5, dry. Then from the HOTAS earlier on, we had a wind of 180, 4 meters per second.
Proceed direct Cockhook.
Quality 4024, direct Cockhook. Looks good. Execute. LNAV available. LNAV. And that puts us a little bit higher in profile. Nothing that we cannot correct.
International 16 Mike, cleared via Tibet to hotel transition, expect ILS approach, runway 13.
Okay, something like 290 or so. Should be good. Alright, so once again, 63.5, and then we use that on here as well, 63,500. What else did we have on the HOTAS? We had a temperature of 4 degrees, QNH 1002. So, flap 30 landing, calculate that please. Then a quick look onto the chart as well. Runway 13 means we need to vacate to the left, and we want to vacate latest by taxiway number 5. Which could be quite tight. This is 1,000 meters there. Yeah, we aren't gonna make that. We need to backtrack here at taxiway 8, so that means we have like 1,800 meters of runway available. So, looking at the prediction over here, well, the brake cooling times are quite high, so let's take reversers all operational, calculate that again. Then flaps 30, order brake 3, 18 minutes brake cooling, 2,208 meters, that includes a 15% factorization. So if we do a little bit of mathematics and take the 2208 times 0.85, that means 1,876 meters, that should be perfect. to vacate the runway over at taxiway 8 and then backtrack, vacate via 5, all the way straight via 7 to Apron Alpha, which is where I would expect the freight terminal to be. And that should be mostly it, really. So flaps 30, auto brake 3. Any questions on the briefing? No? Okay, very good. Then we are just about to level off. Let's wind that speed back. Okay, descent checklist, please. Pressurization, land out 1100.
Continue descent level 130.
Quality 4024, descent flight level 130. Set, 130 checked, speed intervent, alt intervent, and down we go again. So, descent checklist. Pressurization, land out 1100, anti-ice on, approach briefing fuel, disgusting, IS and alt box, checked and set, checklist complete. Little thing we like to do when it says disgust over there, because that is just such a stupid word for that. Like, nobody uses that in aviation, that's why we love to say disgusting here. Okay, so that's the descent checklist complete. More or less on profile again, that's nice. And VNAV path is captured. Engine anti-ice off.
Your wings to Papa Lima, low Lviv radar contact, continue.
Alright. Somebody asked a little bit further up if it was that quiet on the ATC frequency for such a long time.
4024, proceed direct Lima 303.
Quality 4024, direct Lima 303. Okay, 303 is here. That looks good. Execute. LNAV available. LNAV. So somebody asked earlier on if it's that quiet on the ATC frequency like it was on the last frequency, how often would we do radio checks to verify that everything is working? Basically my company says the very latest every 25 minutes. And however, you can still do it earlier. So you can do more radio checks if you want to. It basically comes down to the sector you're flying through. When it's nighttime, you're at 3 AM somewhere over Poland, it's probably going to be rather quiet.
6,000 feet, QNH 1022, QNH 1002, transition level 120.
Quality 4024, descent altitude 6,000, QNH 1002. Okay, set, 6,000 checked, set altimeter 1002, passing 17,700, descending 6,000, no flex, standby altimeter set.
Should be 829, a pass message.
Okay, so yeah, radio checks, you do them every 25 minutes, unless you have reason to expect that something is wrong. For example, I've had a case recently where we've had a loss of communication flying back from the Canaries, and somewhere over Portugal we didn't hear anybody talk for about 10 minutes or so. And we then did a radio check and didn't get an answer anymore. So we called on 121.5, and after we did that, they told us, oh, they closed the sector and they forgot about us. So the sector was literally closed and we should have been on a different ATC frequency for the past 10 minutes or so, but they simply forgot to tell us. So, yep, stuff happens, that's why you do those radio checks, but it just requires a little bit of common sense and of airmanship to determine when you might want to do a radio check. The very latest is every 25 minutes. Then ISA 767 asked a bit earlier on, why are we only flying Mach 0.74? That's basically because of the low altitude. You only fly the high Mach numbers when you're flying very close to your optimum altitudes. If you're flying any decent cost index, so not like cost index 100 or so, then you would not normally fly Mach 0.78 when you're flying like a couple thousand feet below your optimum. Indeed, 0.74 at level 310 was quite fast already. In my airline we would more be doing something like Mach 0.70 at those altitudes, maybe even 0.68 or so. But we had the strongest tailwind over there, so it made the most economic sense as SimBrief has calculated, so that's the reason why we did it.
Papa, we had to reconnect. Is everything okay?
Lufthansa 47 Romeo Papa, that's approach.
5 miles up, how did I get the Ryanair checklist on the control column? I took a photo of the real one and photoshopped it into here. I just replaced the texture, but it's still work in progress, and I have to find a decent site to upload it. I don't want to upload to FlightSim.to anymore due to their end-user license agreements, which personally I do just not agree with. So for that reason, I have to find a website where I can upload it once it's finished.
7,000 feet, QNH 1002, transition level 120.
Ryan, what's the program I'm using for performance calculations? That is called Virtual Performance Tool. Really handy tool. And it should be linked in the video description below. Okay, starting the deceleration up here.
Quality 4024, contact Lviv radar 120.525, goodbye.
120.525, quality 4024, see ya.
Yeah.
Lviv radar, good evening, quality 4024, descending, flight level correction, descending altitude 6,000 feet in Mount Lima Lima 303, information Lima. Quality 4024, descend altitude 2,500 feet. Set, 2,500 checked. So next up is probably going to be Tower 128.0. Okay, let's go ahead and do the 10 checks. Fuel, balanced, 4 pumps on, lights on, angle of bank 25, air condition and pressurization 4.0 descending set, fasten belts, on, recall, checked 121.5, deselected, 10 checks complete. Okay, and then we've pretty much got everything done. Critic Varma, we cannot hear VATSIM ATC voices, please turn them on. Well, they should be turned on. I've even turned them almost to maximum volume. Anybody else having problems with hearing ATC? And AJ Fernery, have I heard about the recent problems with close calls in the US recently? Are you also experiencing that in your region? Okay, everybody says ATC is so quiet. Well, then I'm gonna turn them up a bit more. Tell me how they are now. So, AJ, have I heard about the increase of close calls recently in the US? Are you also experiencing that in your region? I've heard about it in the US. But in my region, I do not observe something similar, at least not in my airline. But my airline has a very, very good pilot training department. What I can imagine what could probably be happening is due to the very few number of flights during COVID. Pilots were just out of training, so they had to get some experience again. And with the experience comes the increase in safety. That is my theory there. But if that is true or not, something I really can't tell you. Okay, so let's do a frisk check. Frequencies 109.5, set active nav 1, nav 2, fixed rings. Runway 13, 10 miles, 4 miles. Idents. We've got India Lima Oscar, standby instrument set, course is 130. Approach checklist please. Altimeters and instruments, set cross checked, approach rates, checked and set. Approach checklist complete. Alright, so Let's go manual. Flight directors off. Or rather, flight directors recycled. So excuse me if I'm not talking too much now, but you know the drill, hand flying the plane is the point where I should really maintain sterile cockpit. Okay, so we remember our star leads us all the way to Lima Lima 301, which is the 4-mile final, so we can turn final on our own. Quite a lot of tailwind there. Let's start decelerating. Quite difficult to lose airspeed with that tailwind, so I'm just using a little bit of speed brake there to get the speed under control. Quality 4024, cleared ILS 13. Flaps 1, speed checked. Flap 1 and flaps 5, speed checked. Flap 5, flaps 10, speed checked. The wind is still pretty strong down here, I did not expect that.
You approach the brake back here, 7 with you. Descend in 3,000 feet via the to Throttle. Arrival.
Okay, that's our glide slope. Speed brake is in. Localizer alive. Set runway heading 130. That. And here we are on the glide slope. Overshot the loc a little bit, but that's within limits. One to 8.0, quality 4024. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Lviv Tower, good evening. Quality 4024, established ILS 13.
Positive. Ready. And after landing, backtrack via taxiway 8 approved.
Quality 4024, you broke up there. We only understood after landing, backtrack via taxiway 8. Please say again the rest.
Quality 4024, wind 180 degrees, 4 meters per second, runway 13, clear to land.
Runway 13, clear to land, quality 4024. Okay, just working ahead a little bit here. Okay, set missed approach altitude. 3,000 feet set. Gear down, flip 15, landing checklist. Start switches, continuous, recall, check, speed brake, arm green light, landing gear down 3 green, auto brake 3 set, holding at flaps. Flaps 30. Good BRF plus 5. Perfect. Okay, flaps 30, 30, green light, landing lights on, landing checklist complete, and we are clear to land. Man, lovely MSFS turbulence here. In real life it's so much easier to maintain a vertical speed. Okay, 500 continue. Checked.
Minimums.
Continue. So speed brake up. Thrust reverse normal. And we've got max reverse, 100 knots. Manual brakes. And we'll let it roll to the aft end. Now we can take this. Okay. So that's taxiway number 8. Now he's already approved our backtrack. Okay, clear on the right, clear on the left. The backtrack is approved. Next guy is 7 miles out, so should be easy going.
Heavy, very good evening, Lviv Tower. Continue approach runway 13, number 1.
Okay, we can clean this up.
Quality 4024, vacate on the right via taxiway 5.
Vacate to the right onto taxiway 5, quality 4024. I hope this actually was taxiway 5. Would have been a good idea to check that chart, but I just thought, well, it somewhat looked like a 5, so fair enough. Quality 4024, runway vacated.
3, wind 180 degrees, 4 meters per second, runway 13 clear to land. Runway 13 clear to land. Quality 4024, contact Lviv ground 120.05, bye bye.
120.05, quality 4024, thank you very much, bye bye. Okay, 120.05. Lviv ground, good evening, quality 4024, runway vacated.
Quality 4024, good ground, very good evening. Taxi to stand Alpha 12 via taxiway 7.
And Alpha 12 via taxiway 7, quality 4024. Okay, quick glance at the chart. Alpha 12 means we go straight ahead over taxiway 7 and then basically behind the terminal to the right there. So like this. Okay, we can do that. Okay, there comes the Giant. Always nice to see a 747 landing. Okay, my friend, you are being watched. Is he climbing away? What's he doing? That's a bit high. Nah, okay. So we got 3 minutes, shut down engine 2. Let's see if GSX knows the stand. Alpha, no. If we just select the stand number 12, do we have that? Parking... No, we don't. Okay. So no GSX for us. Well, either that or we have the static aircraft on there. That might be, of course, as well. I guess it's probably the static that's on stand 12. Yep, it is.
Quality 4024, you can take stand Alpha 13 if you want.
Quality 4024, Alpha 13, is that the first or the fourth?
That's the last one.
The last one, roger. Okay. In a situation like this, where we were so close to, where we just were so close already, I didn't want to stop and dig out the chart, but there wasn't a lot happening on the ATC frequency, so might just ask him as well. Okay, so Alpha 13, do we have that somewhere, dear GSX? It's not like we're almost parked anyway, but stand 13. No follow me. Handling by Ukraine International. And here we go. So let's see, is she going to crash us into the tuck? No, that should have been fine. Okay, 2 blue, 1 red, engine's dead. Alright, that is sector number 1 done. Just going to deselect the ATC frequency so that we have a little bit of silence here. And then we have both engines below 20%. Transit shutdown checklist, please. Electrical on APU, fasteners off, window heat, probe heat auto, NTIs off, voice recorder on, air compacts auto, engine bleeds on, APU bleed off, exterior lights set, start switches off, auto brake off, speed brake, down attend, parking brake set, start from cutout switches normal, radius, parking brake set, transponder standby, CBS to be in, cockpit door unlocked, shutdown checklist complete. Alright, so that is sector number 1 done. let's get the trucks in position, and then they can start offloading already. And with the trucks in, we can release the brakes. Keep in mind, we had 18 minutes of brake cooling calculated. Then we can request some stairs, and most importantly, we need to offload our cargo. Target is 0 everywhere. We are going to fly the plane back empty, since our mission was to bring supplies to Lviv. And with that, we are pretty much done over here. So let's change our view, and we'll fly the return flight from the first officer's seat. Feels somewhat familiar over here. Okay, so keeping a good eye on this, and we have ground power, APU off. So the captain can head out for the walk around, and in the meantime we are going to start to prepare the return flight. So let's bring up SimBrief and have a look. Well, and before we do that, maybe it's time to have a look into our landing first of all. So, here's our route of flight, pretty much straight around Poland, and then a straight in arrival. Let's view the landing details. And Nikozana, hello there, a bit late. Is there another leg? Yes, there is. We will be going back towards Prague. Alright, so, view the full landing report, please. Here we go, we touch down just aft of the aiming point, pretty much on center line, 234 feet a minute. Well, a little bit positive, but seeing that we had to make the exit over here for the backtrack, that is absolutely fine. If we had to go all the way to the end, the giant behind us would probably have to go around. So from a tactical point of view, that positive landing is definitely acceptable. And overall, I would say I am pretty happy with that. So, and with that said, let's go ahead and plan our way back. We've been the quality 4024 on the way over, so we are going to be the 4025 on the flight back. For the aircraft, I'm just using my passenger aircraft over here, Alpha Bravo Kilo Juliet, and then changing the registration. That makes our lives easy. So we are the Oscar Echo India X-Ray Alpha on this one. Okay, freight, none. Passengers, none. And the routing, well, that looks pretty straight, I would say. But if by any means possible, I want a routing that leads us through Bratislava, through Slovakia, because there is nobody online in Poland right now. And there actually are no routes. Okay, that is a little bit unfortunate. Let's see if we can design one real quick. Or maybe there is one available on Edikla. Let's have a look. Search flights, departure UKLL towards LKPR. Let's see. Yes, there is one. Patka, Tibla, Bodal, VLM. But I think Patka is Poland. So let's see. Yeah, that is the same route, unfortunately. That is not what we've been looking for. Okay, do we have anything different over here? Maybe the older one from 2021? No, same routing. This one. Looks like same routing through DBAT, but let's have a look real quick. Yep, same stuff. And maybe the last one. But DBAT Patka already sounds quite Polish. And it is. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. That means we only have Polish routes over there. But maybe we can send the ground controller a request. Maybe he knows something. Maybe they have something planned, so I've just sent him a private message to see if he's got anything to do there. We'll see about it. One never knows. And in the meantime, I saw a couple comments there that should definitely have been removed. Like this one. Bye bye. Sometimes you just need to do a little bit of moderator action. Okay, so, Jacob, when switching between APU, GPU, generator 1-2 power, do you leave the voltage selector switch in standby power? I never see you change it. Yeah, we basically never touch it. We just basically never touch it. Oh, where does that guy come from? He's probably just spawned on our gate. But well, fair enough for me as long as we are offloading, but when we want to go later on, it might be good if this guy would be gone by then, but let's see. Let's not make any problems where there are none. Okay, so the ground controller is working on getting us a route, so in the meantime maybe we can start doing pretty much everything else already. So let's just go ahead and calculate the flight with the default SimBrief route. We know what we are going to get is probably going to be a tiny bit longer than this, so we are just going to uplift a little bit of extra fuel. So what we'll get might be like, don't know, 5 minutes more. So let's take, does that include the arrival? Yes, it does. Okay, so block fuel 5.1, let's upload 5.6, and then we should have plenty of fuel. That way we can get the ground services going while we're waiting on receiving the correct route for the way back. So 5,600, start the refueling. Yes, please. Okay, and in the meantime they are unloading the cargo over here. That's going fine. And I guess ATC is currently working on the flight plan, so we can just about do the entire rest of it already with all the setup. Obviously not the altitudes yet. Okay, and that's mostly it really. Okay, Ding Dong sounds good. No, they say they don't have an event route either. But the controller is really nice. He just offers us the assistance to find some routes via Slovakian airspace. Well, we are definitely going to accept his offer. It is always nice if you have an ATC helping you like this, because it just means these guys know their airspace, so they will probably be able to find a route there much quicker than we could otherwise do it. Okay, 5.6 is on board. And I don't think we'll need anything else. Well, you know what? Let's make that 5-7, just to be on the safe side here, that we don't need to call the fueler back by the time we finally receive our route. Because when we have the route, then... here we are. Because once we have the route, I really want to get going here. Cargo is on a good way to be offloaded. Okay, in the meantime, what can we do already? We can enter some basics. So we're going from UKLL towards LKPR. And we'll be the Tango Alpha Yankee 4025. We'll leave the rest of the route empty for now. Cost NX is going to be 18. Reserve fuel we'll see. 0 fuel weight. Well, empty. Something around 42. And cruise level we'll leave empty as well for now. Then maybe we can go ahead and select a couple of basics already. So let's go into Sim Toolkit. Transition altitude 10,010. And Skyvector is not really going to be an option for this one, because Skyvector just has the problem that it doesn't know about any of the free route airspace assignments. So the free route airspace really makes route planning a little bit complicated, because you need to look up all the route restrictions en route, and that's something that you need to take into account. So that's probably something that the controllers over here know better than we do. That's the reason why I've asked him in first place. Back in the good old day with PFPX, it would probably have been easy, but nonetheless, if he offers his help, it looks like he doesn't have too much to do at the moment, so if they are so generous to offer their help, then we can definitely accept it. I see nothing wrong with that. So, let's see. Return flight, reset current aircraft, and we are going dispatch from UKLL, Lviv International, runway 13. We'll take intersection 3, runway condition dry. The wind was 180 at 4 meters per second. Temperature 4, QNH 1002. Okay, engine failure procedure. At 10 DME Lima India Victor, turn right towards Lima India Victor and hold 130 inbound. Okay, so Lima India Victor /10, and then hold 130 inbound. The reverse course of that is 310, so that's that. Okay. By the way, what we are currently experiencing here is pretty much similar to what we have in real life as well when we are getting return routes. So basically, if we are getting reclearances from the company, if we're getting new flight plans, then this is the kind of stuff they do. And then we are just sitting there trying to prepare as much as possible until we are preparing as much as possible until we are actually ready to go and receive the actual flight plan. So this is actually, yeah, quite realistic here. Okay, and we've just received our route from ATC, so let's compute the flight plan with that. So we have our flight plan done, pre-file on VATSIM. And with the pre-file in progress, callsign will be 4025. That is done. Thank you very much. And 4025 is in. Okay then, let's go ahead and have a look at the new flight plan in Sim Toolkit. Setting it up right now. Type 4005, and we are taking my standard registration number here. Fly now, OFP. Okay, that's the thing where it gets interesting. Do we have sufficient fuel? Yes, 5.7 was actually a very good choice there. Okay, so alternate Ostrava. Quick look into the weather. Rosinia is looking good. Prop 30 tempo, some gusts with rain, no problem with that. Alternate Ostrava got 218, gust 30. Okay, let's have a look real quick there. What's the ICAO code of that again? LKMT. Let's check which runway alignment they have. Because if that's a crosswind, then I wouldn't want to use that as an alternate. But if it's not a crosswind, but if it's only like down the runway. Yeah, runway 22, 3,500 meters. So even if those gusts are there, they're going to be down the runway, so no problem, we can use that. Okay, perfect. So our final fuel figure is going to be 5.5, and we actually have 5.7 on board. So it looks very good with the... So it actually looks very good there. Okay, perfect. Then let's quickly type that into the FMC to set everything up. And then we can make our way. We actually have to hurry a little bit anyway, because otherwise we might miss the end of the event. So, departure, runway 13, thank you very much. And we are using a Kokup departure. And I have no idea which of those it's going to be. Foxtrot or Alpha? Well, we might as well call for ATC clearance, then we know for sure which departure we're gonna get.
010, Lviv ground, good evening.
010, ground, very good evening.
010, requesting ATC clearance. We are going to Yagelon for emergency rescue services. Then we'll go to emergency medical services hospital, City Lviv. Ready to copy ATC clearance.
010, please confirm, are you at stand Alpha 10?
Affirmative, 010.
Okay, while these guys are currently busy, I will just start programming the route in order not to waste any time.
Which will be your first plan, please?
Road accident next to Yagelon Airport, and then we will go to City of Lviv, to emergency hospital.
Roger, 010. You are clear to destination. Correction, you are cleared for flight, for VFR flight. Your first point will be erotic. So what did you say? Could you please write it in chat?
Okay, for the arrival routing we'll see. Seems like from Victor Oscar Zulu there is nothing there, so ATC will give us something. We'll just join it up for now, and that shall be good enough. Lviv ground, good evening, quality 4025, information, Mike, request clearance to Prague.
Quality 4025, Lviv ground, very good evening again. You are cleared to destination Prague via flight en route. Kokup 1 Foxtrot departure, runway use 13, and initial 6000 feet. After departure, contact Lviv radar at frequency 120.525 and clock 3330.
Quality 4025, clear to Prague, flight plan route, Kokup 1 Foxtrot departure, climb 6000 feet, after departure 120.525, squawk 2220.
Quality 4025, feedback is correct, break 020. You are cleared.
Okay, so Kokup 1 Foxtrot departure, climbing altitude 6000 feet,
After departure,
and squawk 2220.
not above 2500 feet, runway use 13,
No.
and squawk 3334.
Okay. That looks good to me. So the route is correct as we've just entered it, and we get a ground distance there of 451 versus 458 on the flight plan. Then Reserve fuel 2.2, flight level 400, and the winds are going to be 281 at 60.
Direct to altitude not above 2000.
Temperature +1, so minus 55. Okay, perfect. How's it looking? Everything offloaded. Very good. Then you can close it up. Start the APU. So, 39.6. Invalid entry, lovely. Good call, PMDG. Okay, doesn't accept that. What does it take then? Does it take 40? Yes. Does it take 39.7? Yes. Okay, then we'll take that. 45.5, the takeoff weight. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of mathematics over there. Virtual performance tool. With the values we took previously, takeoff weight is going to be 45,500. Calculate. 22K, 58 degrees. Okay, 22, 58, 87.0, flap 5, 4.3 units of trim. Here we are. And the takeoff speed 17, 18, 23, 17, 18, 22. That's within 1 knot. We can accept those. Okay. Finally, the MFRA over here is going to be 2077. So let's set that, and then we will be ready to go. Quality 4025. Looks like somebody just logged in right in front of us. Is a pushback available from the stand, or is it only startup on the stand and then self-maneuvering?
Could you repeat again, please? Last station.
It's quality 4025. Somebody just logged in straight in front of us on the stand, so we will not be able to taxi out after the startup. Will a pushback be available from here, or is it self-maneuvering only?
Quality 4025. Are you able to push onto taxiway 7?
Firm, we will be able for that. We call you back in a few minutes.
I'm business jet, so can I request stand Alpha 3?
Okay, so setup is pretty much all done. We are done over here. The APU is online. Then let's go ahead and do a quick briefing, and then we go. Threats for the departure? I don't really see any. Route check is done. Instrument cross-check. Time ETC 1304, altimeter 1002, reading 1100. MFR 2077. Flight directors on, minus master, standby set. Right seat takeoff, runway 13, flaps 5. Noise abatement number 2. Actually, noise abatement number 1 over here, to get clear of the ground and anything close by. As quick as possible. What else do we do? Emergencies, standard. For the emergency, sit straight ahead 10 miles, right turn back to the VOR, and then hold 130 inbound left turns, climbing 4000. Taxi, pushback onto taxiway 7, that is like the main taxiway we have over there. And then let's have a quick look into our sit as well.
Please hold position.
Okay. Yeah, we've got it. Okay, so they cleared us for the Covus 1 Foxtrot. No, Cocup 1 Foxtrot, that way. Okay, so that's Lima Lima 401 above 2960. That's what we have here. Lima Lima 403 above 3940. Cocup above 9030. Climbing at 6,000. Any questions on the briefing? No? Okay. Good. Then they are done up here. Let's go ahead with the... Oh, that looks interesting. Is that a helicopter? I have no idea. Okay, chance before start checklist. Gear pins. 1 to 3 removed. Yaw damper on. Fuel 5 required, 5-7 on board, 4 pumps on, fast melts on, window heat on, air cannon packs, air cannon press, packs auto bleeds on set, no. Packs auto bleeds on set, press mode selector auto, instruments cross checked, auto brakes RTO, speed brakes, down detent, park and brake, set, and the chocks are gone. Start from cutter switch is normal, wheel by fire warning, checked, radios, radar transponder set standby, rudder aileron trims 3-0, take a briefing discussed, PA complete, FMC, CDU set, N1 IS box, automatic, 22k reduced, 17, 18, 22 set, stub trim 4.3 set, performance weight balance sign sent, phones off, EFB airplane mode stowed, flight windows cockpit door locked, doors closed, passengers seated, before start checklist complete. Okay, ready to go. Now the question is if we can taxi out since the guy's gone. I'll just talk to ATC again.
095, you ready to copy DFR clearance?
Oh no, don't give the clearance now, don't give the clearance now. He gives the clearance now.
21095, you are cleared to Jacqueline and back. After departure, proceed direct waypoint Golf, runway news 13. Climb not above 2,000 feet.
So just waiting for ATC clearance now, checking if we should still do the pushback or if we can do taxi straight out. Because looking at the stance over there, I'm not sure if you can actually taxi straight out or if you should do a pushback anyway. But we talk to ATC and then we see what we are going to do. Quality 4025 is fully ready now. Do we need to do a pushback or can we start up on stand and then later on taxi straight ahead?
Quality 4025, yes, if there's no traffic on front of you, you can taxi straight ahead and startup is approved.
Thank you very much, startup approved, quality 4025. Okay, before start checklist below the line. Air compacts off, anti-collision on, park and brake set, transponder alt off, before start checks complete, starting engine number 2. N2, oil pressure, N1.
Charlie and taxi to 100 point runway 13 via taxiway 7 and taxiway 1.
Charlie at 20.13 via taxiway 7 and taxiway 1, right after the secure.
Winter Splash, is it true that when you backtrack a runway you need to go off the center line? Only for the turn. Only when you need to make your 180-degree turn. Apart from that, always stay on the center line. Always, always, always stay on the center line. Muhammad Abbas, have you ever flown a 777? No, I haven't. Okay, start a cutout. Starting number 1, monitor number 2, 2, 4, 6, 3, number 2 stable. And 2, all press, and 1. 25%, fuel on. Check the valves are operating. Hello there, Nikolai. Nice to see you in the chat. I'm doing good. And you?
Welcome to Lviv, taxi to stand Bravo 6 via taxiway 7.
Taxi to stand Bravo 6 via taxiway 7, Eurowings to
Data cutout, monitor 2, 2 stable.
Patron.
Thank you. 210-6 via Bravo taxiway
095, contact tower 128.0, have a nice flight, bye-bye.
Okay, flight control check. Full up, full down, neutral, left, right, neutral, rudders, left, right, neutral, before taxi checklist. Generators on, APU off, start switches continues, probe heat on, anti-ice off, air conditioning, PAX auto bleeds on, isolation valve, auto, flaps, 5 required. 5 selected, that's the reason we do it. Okay, and flaps. 5 green light. Start levers idle 10. Flight controls checked. Recall checked. Before taxi checklist complete. Quality 4025. Request taxi.
Quality 4025, taxi holding point runway 13 via taxiway 7 and taxiway 1.
Taxi holding point runway 13 via taxiway 7 and taxiway 1. Quality 4025. Okay, straight ahead, right, and sorry, left and right. Brakes off. Config. Checked. We're gonna ignore all the GSX vehicles over here. Okay, clear on the left. Let's not go too fast. 10 knots is sufficient. And here we go. So taxiway 7 and taxiway number 1. Number 1 is all the way to the end. Clear on the left. Clear on the right. Basically behind the Rhine now. That's where we are going. And Kosana, on an autoland in a Boeing, do you disconnect the autopilot after touchdown?
Quality 4025, contact tower 128.0, have a nice flight, bye-bye.
128.0, quality 4025, thank you very much, bye bye. Okay, 1280 and then 120575 for the departure frequency. But we can set that one later.
FedEx 196, be ready to go around.
FedEx 196, was that a go around, sir?
FedEx 196, be ready for go around.
Copy.
Okay, departure frequency pre-selected. Alright, he seems to be quite time critical right now on that FedEx, so I'll rather check in once that guy has landed. Let's see, where's the other traffic? Oh, still on the runway. Well, that's gonna be interesting.
The 1095, wind 180 degrees, 4 meters per second, runway 13.
He's rolling already, that's nice.
Clear to take off, no delay, to 125.
But that easy stopped on the runway, you see the tail there? That's him. Okay, where's the FedEx? Don't even see him anymore. Is he disconnected? Where is... Yeah, the FedEx disconnected. Too bad.
Sky up to San Foxtrot, continue backtrack, vacate via taxiway 5.
Continue backtrack, vacate via taxiway 5, Sky up to San Foxtrot. Yeah, please.
Oh, low quality 4025, ready in sequence.
Quality 4025, hello again, hold short runway 13 on taxi 1.
Hold short runway 13, quality 4025.
Sky Travel 2360, good evening.
Sky Travel 2360, very good evening, Lviv Tower, continue approach runway 13, maintain minimum approach speed please.
Continue approach and minimum speed.
Okay, so regarding the earlier question, if you disconnect the autopilot on after the auto landing on the rollout, the answer is yes. With a failed passive airplane, you are going to disconnect as soon as the main wheels have touched the runway. With the failed operational airplane, you have rollout guidance, so you can keep it on. And Method 60, 25,000 subscribers. Oh, already? Wow! Thank you very much, guys. That is really much appreciated. I appreciate your support. 25,000. Wow. And the channel is not even a year old yet. That is really impressive. Thank you very much, guys.
Foxtrot contact Lviv ground 120.05, bye bye.
120.05, na wsze dobre, do poważnie, efektu stanu.
Hey, can't see anybody on the approach. Oh, there is one.
Sky Travel 2360, wind 180 degrees per meter per second, runway 13 clear to land.
Runway 13 cleared for
Okay, the Sky Traveler's landing clearance.
Break 21095.
Where is he? Very short final. Okay.
3000 feet.
Traffic inside 295.
21095, maintain
and there he comes.
Own situation with traffic.
Of course we are maintaining on situation 295, we are overflow.
295 to contact Lviv Radar 120.525.
So I hope he's going to get us out now before everybody backtracks.
02 Blue, contact Lviv Radar 120.525 here.
0525, we say to 02 Blue.
Quality 4025, line up runway 13 and wait.
Quality 4025, line up and wait, runway 13. Okay, confirm readback. Runway 13, line up and wait.
Sky Travel 2360, backtrack via taxiway 8 approved, vacate via taxiway 5.
Backtrack approved and taxi via Alpha, Sky Travel 2360.
Okay. Clear on the approach. One guy backtracking before takeoff checklist. Below the line. Actually, full before takeoff checklist. Config check. Flaps 5, green light. Step trim 4.3 units set. Takeoff briefing. Right seat takeoff. Runway 13. Flaps 5. Noise 1. Speed 17, 18, 22. Pax auto bleeds on. Sit straight at right turn. Emergency straight at 10 miles. Then a right hand turn back to the VOR. Climb at 4,000. Yeah, that's really it. Cabin secure, MCP set, transponder TARA, strobe lights on, holding at landing lights. Okay, so that guy's off the runway. We'll see when he gives us clearance, but should come any moment now.
Quality 4025, wind 180 degrees per second, runway 13 cleared for takeoff.
Runway 13 clear for takeoff, quality 4025. Okay. Landing lights on before takeoff checks complete. Stabilized. Set takeoff thrust. Takeoff thrust set, indications normal.
Sky Travel 2360, contact with ground 120.05, bye.
80 knots. Check.
Contact ground on 120, decimal 050, thank you, bye bye.
V1, rotate. You're up. Positive rate. Empty plane, very good climb performance. Always love it. LNAV.
Walker 10.
Okay. Lviv radar, good evening, quality 4025, passing 2700, climbing 6000. One two zero 525. Lviv radar, good evening, quality 4025, passing 4000, climbing 6000. Back up. Up 1. Climb flight level 160, quality 4025. Set. 160 tracked. Flaps up. Speed checked. Flaps up. Alt acquire, why is that? Keep climbing, please. Okay, VNAV. So, flaps up, no lights. Set standard. VNAV is in. Full climb thrust, please. Come on. Okay, full climb thrust coming. Bring on the power. Why is it in VNAV alt? That doesn't make any sense. Here we go. I don't know, that's a bug that I still have to understand. Okay, let's see what rate of climb we're getting out of the plane. Empty airplane, full thrust. And we can do the after takeoff checklist in the meantime. Air condition and pressurization 3.2, climbing and set. Altimeters, standard 104, climbing 160.
Good evening, Ukraine radar, FedEx 009 with you, descending to flight level 280.
The good thing about flying an empty airplane, you can have a little bit of fun there with, you can have a little bit of fun pulling some rates of climbs there and stuff like that. Obviously you shouldn't,
radar,
but...
did you read? FedEx 009?
FedEx 009, radar identified, descend, 8,000.
So, looks like we'll get just about through the clouds.
Descending 8,000 feet, FedEx 009.
Come on, flight director, don't overdo it. We can cut this turn a little bit. So, speed intervent, 320, 2,000 to go.
8,000 feet, FedEx 009.
FedEx 009 F-drop 8,000 feet.
8,000 feet, FedEx 009.
1 to go. Okay, can't fly it any quicker than this. Auto throttle off. Going to do the 10 checks in a few moments. Just want to level off the plane first. Looks like I've reached the forward trim limit. Look at that. Doesn't give me any more trim. 4 units is the forwardmost trim it's going to give me. Let's see what the autopilot does with this. If we get a step out of trim light, or if the thing is going to do it. No, the autopilot is fine with it, it seems. Okay, engine anti-ice on, and then we can do the 10 checks. So, fuel is balanced with 4 pumps on, lights off, APU off, air conditioning pressurization 5.2, maintaining and set. 134.05, quality 4025, see ya.
Well, 107, Roger, tank, expect 10 minute delay.
Lviv radar, good evening, quality 4025, flight level 160, inbound Coco.
Quality 4025, hello, Lviv radar contact, climb to flight level 300, proceed direct, Malda.
Quality 4025, climb flight level 300, direct Malda. Okay, set, 300 checked, enough speed, that's gonna be a quick climb now. And then we can put Malba on top, execute, LNAV available, LNAV. Okay, so to finish the 10 checks, fast modes remain on, recall checked, 1 to 1.5, monitoring, 10 checks complete. So, level success, thank you very much for the 50 NOK donation. Congrats on the 25k, love your videos, keep the content coming, much love from Norway. Thank you very much, my friend, thank you very, very much.
FedEx 24 Romeo Lima, continue descent.
And my apologies for answering so late. I was a little bit busy here flying that airplane. And you know what they say, first fly the airplane. So, let's see how... Nah, you know what, I'm gonna keep the speed because I want to make it to Prague as quickly as possible. We're going to need an hour and 12, the event finishes in 45, so let's see if we can make it with ATC. Otherwise we might have to land on Honeycomb at the end. Okay, that looks to me like we'll be clear of the clouds, engine anti-ice off. And then we can switch the belts off as well. Randy, there was an accident in the US many years ago where the pilots were flying an empty CRJ and took it to level 410. They had a dual engine failure and sadly crashed before gliding to the nearest airport. That was the guy who won the Darwin Awards, wasn't it? Yeah, I think that was the guy who got the Darwin Awards. Lovely. Yeah, that was an unfortunate thing. Nikolai, the engine failure in that case was caused by the pilots pushing the engine into the limits. So basically, they forced the airplane up to an altitude where the airplane wasn't capable to go there. And when they finally noticed that they flew the backside of the power curve, but they didn't want to descend anymore, they basically firewalled the thrust levers. And they gave so much thrust on the engines that the engines overheated and then eventually failed. There would have been plenty of stages to avoid that engine failure happening. And even after the engine failure, they were in gliding range for 5 airports, but they refused to tell air traffic control about their problems. And
2005.
yeah, thereby, since they refused to tell ATC about the problem until they glided down to like 10,000 feet or so, they crashed and both pilots died in the accident. But since it was a ferry flight, they didn't kill anybody else. So that's why they got a Darwin Award for that. And in case anybody wonders what a Darwin Award is, it's an award you can get for doing mankind a favor by removing yourself from the gene pool.
FedEx 24 Romeo Lima, continue descent level 140.
So yeah, that was a really unfortunate accident that happened there.
Contact Bratislava radar 1.
But of course, that is exactly what you're not supposed to do. This is what you can do. Cancelling the speed restriction so that the autopilot pulls the plane above the clouds over here. This is what you can do on a ferry flight. What you cannot do is doing stupid things. Even when there are no passengers on there. You know, maintain your professional attitude. Okay, let's accelerate again a bit. We are within the 3-to-1 rule anyway now. Let's go vertical speed, plus 2000.
5, cancel holding. Proceed direct D-bed and then via D-bed to hotel transition.
And Nikolai, why didn't they tell ATC? Basically because they didn't want to admit that they had done something stupid. They hoped they could get out of it without ATC noticing that they did something stupid. But they could not get out of it. Unfortunately. Want to go? And G Walker, you name it. If they had landed, surely their career would have been over. Yep, absolutely. Sailor, off topic, but can you hold on the Anton of 225?
2005, descend altitude 9,000 feet, GNH 1002.
To be honest, I'm not 100% sure if the GNS 530 supports holdings, but otherwise just fly the holding manually. You can use the OBS function to set the inbound course. So the OBS function on the GPS, you can use that to set the inbound course to the holding fix, and then you can hold manually using heading select.
That was for FedEx 2005. 24 Romeo Lima, you still descended level 140 in a
Okay, so flight level 300. And you know what? Let's just go Costenix 100 here. We've got the extra fuel, so I want to make it to Prague more or less in time for the event. But that's an hour to go, and the event ends in 40 minutes, but we'll see about it. Maybe they stay online a little bit longer. In most countries they do. Typically it's only Germany where they quit exactly on the hour.
FedEx 2005, reduce speed to 30 knots. FedEx 2005.
And Kasana, for pressurization, can we just set the top of climb, or do we need to adjust with all the steps ATC gives us? I'll just set the top of climb.
Right.
I've just set 40,000 in here, and
107, cancel hold.
the airplane does quite a good job on adjusting the pressurization by itself. You can see that currently, as we're leveled off, the cabin has basically leveled off as well, and once we continue the climb, it's going to continue climbing the cabin as well. The plane is pretty good at that. Okay then, enough. No, 8-1 is a bit too fast. Give me 8-0, please.
Quality 4025, contact Bratislava radar 134.475, goodbye.
134.475, quality 4025, bye-bye. Bratislava radar, good evening, quality 4025, flight level 300 in Malby. Quality 4025, proceed to Valby. Is flight level 400 available? Okay, towards Valby. LNAV available, LNAV. Let's see if we can get the climb. Quality 4025, climb flight level 400. Set, 400 checked, out intervent. Okay, and up we go. Let's see how good of a climb performance the plane is still able to give us. Okay, that gotta be this guy over there. Let's just help him a little bit.
Tell me that I should be at flight level 310 at Malta.
Yes, that is traffic collision. Thank you.
Okay, we'll just outclimb that guy. We've got such a good performance at the moment. Look at that, target speed 197 knots for a maximum angle climb. Okay, and we're clear of him now. Back to Econ. That's the lovely things about flying an empty airplane. If you need additional climb performance, you just pull it up and then the thing goes up like a rocket. See how that guy is no problem at all anymore? If we were at a high weight, this could have been a potential conflict there with that guy. But at this weight, no problem whatsoever.
13405,
Coda 101, how did you manage to deal with the deafness after each flight as a result of pressurization, etc.? Well, honestly, you get used to it. You just do the Valsalva maneuver, which is holding your nose tight and then blowing into the nose. And that's it, really. Apart from that, it's not that much a problem, really. Okay, maybe climbing a little bit fast here. Let's make that Mach 0.80 for the climb. And for the cruise as well. Then we have at least a little bit margin to the overspeed. And with the speed that Costin is 100 gave us here 0.815, we would be so close to the overspeed. Even the tiniest change in the winds would have caused the clacker to set off, and we don't want that to happen. The simulator does it often enough by its own, by inserting some wind shifts or something, so we don't really have to force it happening, you know, without an absolute need for it. Will the Dude, what airline do you work for? Well, my airline does not really want me to tell that, because people have done stupid things in the past, and ever since my airline is a little bit allergic to their pilots going on social media. So my apologies, but I cannot share which airline I fly for. Maybe things are gonna change in the future there. Well, maybe, pretty surely. But for now, it is what it is. Okay, then what else is there to do? Not a lot really. Valpi is going to be the border into the Czech Republic, so we can mark that on the fixed page already. And apart from that, we just continue to climb all the way up to cruising level. And Talia Johnson is one that flies 737s. Yep, for sure. Mad Gaming, I like that one. The one that dumps all the weight on the runway. I like that one. But take care, huh? We do it on the runway, not like some certain other airlines next to the runway. Alright, almost want to go. Rate of climb looks good, no traffic anywhere above us. Wind is unfortunately quite a strong headwind over here, but it is what it is, we'll live with it. Torrens, isn't it an open secret which airline you fly for? Yeah, I mean, it basically is. The important thing is, I don't care if you guys are able to figure it out, but I do care about not saying it myself. Level success. How was your base training? I guess you have good memories from that. Yeah, definitely do. How was it? Well, I was the 4th or 5th in my row of several colleagues on that plane that day, so I went through like 30 very interesting landings before it was finally my turn. And honestly, the thing just flew marvelous. Especially in those visual patterns, you know, flying the thing initially VFR, doing some full circuits and stuff like that with the 737. That is really something. That is really something. Now, my first 2 or 3 landings were actually really good, really soft on the aiming point. I was really surprised by that. And then the 4th one was just an impact. And thereafter the 5th and 6th were okay. And yeah, then going into the line training after that. Ooh, I did a couple interesting landings there. I did a couple of really interesting landings there. Concept. And level success. How was it to fly the real thing though for the first time? Honestly, I would say you didn't really have the time to sit back and just think like, hey, I'm flying the 737. You didn't really have the time because you do those 6 traffic patterns in the base training. And I would say the first, hey, I'm finally flying an airliner moment, that really comes on the line training when they send you on that first 2-hour flight or something, where you have a few moments in cruise to really sit back and think about what you're currently doing there. You don't have that in base training or on those short 1-hour flights in the beginning. Even a flight like what we are doing right now, if this was one of the first line training flights, you would really be, yeah, you would be constantly working on something. You wouldn't have time to think about, hey, I'm finally flying an airliner. No, you don't have that time. That comes after a while, maybe on your 20th or 30th sector or something like that, when you finally have a little bit of time. D. Walker, do any of your pilot friends watch your YouTube videos? A couple of guys at my base from time to time ask me like, hey, are you 737NG driver on YouTube? I'm like, oh yeah? Hey, cool videos. A couple of guys actually say that, yeah. A few guys who went into the command upgrade thanked me for those system videos, where they could look some stuff up, but I always told them like, yeah, but read the FCOM, okay? So, yeah, that's pretty much what it was like then. And other people definitely, from time to time, talk about it with me, so yeah, they do know that the channel exists. I have no idea how much of the stuff they're actually watching, probably not a lot, but, you know, the fact alone that some of those guys know that the channel exists, like even one air traffic controller asked me on an en route frequency once, do you by any chance run a YouTube channel? So that was a moment where I was like, oh, people know my channel. Wow. That was interesting. Coda 101, does your secret airline have tillers on the first officer side? No, we don't. We only have them on the captain's side. which is the case for the majority of 737s, by the way. There are only very few airlines that actually have a tiller on the FO side in the 7.3. It just costs extra money, and what is the operational benefit of it? I tend to say there is not really any. Of course, when the first officer gets upgraded to captain, then in the simulator you have to do an extra session on learning how to taxi the airplane, and in line training thereafter you need to put some focus on it as well, but that is not really any different, let's say, and probably still cheaper than installing tillers on the FO side. And you know, in the end it's always the money that counts. Torrens, do you also have big frame drops when flying on VATSIM on busy evenings in Frankfurt? Just installed vPilot with FSLTL model match in my FPS dive bond. Yeah, the frames certainly deteriorate there, especially with VATSIM when you are displaying many aircraft. I have a feeling the performance is really hit by that. But Frankfurt just is one of those places where MSFS doesn't seem to want to give you good frames. I really hope that's going to change by the time we hopefully finally get a decent payware Frankfurt scenery. The freeware Project Fra is good, but the two payware versions we have at the moment, the one from Asobo and the one from Field Air, they are just both crap. So, you know, maybe with a good scenery things are going to improve for good as well, but we'll see about that, and we see how that stuff is going to develop in the meantime. We've got to enjoy what we have. Frankfurt is still fine for me when I'm not facing the terminals, so mostly when I fly to Frankfurt I either park on the Victor odd stands, the odd numbers, which is facing towards the runways, or I park on the Victor 150 and onwards, where you are once again facing the runways, so you don't see the terminal, you don't see the other aircraft, and that really seems to have a positive impact on my frame rate when I'm flying in Frankfurt. Seems to be one of those things with a flight simulator which just really has its problems there, unfortunately, but it is what it is. So, can we look ahead? Actually, I don't think we are in HOTAS reception range yet for Prague, but let's give it a try nonetheless. Should be 12215. Okay, weather's looking good. Runway 24 in use. Well, weather's looking good. It's IMC, but nothing significant over here. We should definitely be able to fly like that. Something we can still look into is the start. Our last waypoint is Victor Oscar Zulu, but we will probably not be able to use that for the approach. So let's have another look in the sim brief here and see if there is anything close by that we could take. What stars do they actually have over here? Prague, arrival, select. VLM. Let's take that VLM for Sierra arrival initially. And then see what ATC is going to give us. That's probably the best idea. So, if we go from Lixa to VLM, where's the top of descent gonna be? Still behind Lixa, okay. Then we'll just keep it like that for now. And ATC is probably going to give us some shortcuts anyway by the time that we call Praha radar. So, that way, we shouldn't have any problems. Just got to keep in mind that our top of descent is not accurate at the moment, but we're going to correct that later on once we know which arrival we are going to fly. I think I know what the ground controller in Lviv did when he created my route. I think he simply reversed the event route, and thereby we are ending up as Victor Oscar Zulu, which was the initial SID fix that we had on the way out when we departed Prague earlier today. But now that we're coming back in, Victor Oscar Zulu is not a fix for a standard arrival, so that's probably the reason why that part of the route is not accurate. But it doesn't matter too much. Nonetheless, I'm still very happy that he created that route for us. And since it was ATC assigned, we could fly it anyway, regardless if it was valid or not in the end. And I'm sure that by the time we pass Valpi, when we are talking to the Czech air traffic controllers, we can negotiate a direct somewhere and hopefully get our shortcuts then. That should also make it a little bit easier with the arrival. Let's see when we are going to arrive at those waypoints. 20, so in half an hour. Okay. Well, we'll see if they are going to stay online or not, but I still have a little bit of hopes. Anyway, I'm going to take a short 1-minute break, and then I will be straight back. Alright, I'm back, and just about on time it seems. Should get our handoff towards Praha radar any moment. Aaron, hi Amy, long time ago I saw you using speed intervent before making a sharp turn. Why is that? That was during the departure, and the reason we did that was because if... no, let me start different. The reason for using speed intervent at that point was that the autopilot is going to, or rather that the FMC is going to predict the turn radius of a turn based on the current speed of the airplane. So if you accelerate within a turn, you are going to overshoot the magenta line, and then the airplane is going to fly itself back onto that magenta line, which basically results in doing a turn like this. And since that is an unnecessary little turn there, I just use speed intervent to keep the plane at my present speed when I'm doing a turn like that, and that helps with the track keeping for the flight. So yeah, basically as AJ has said earlier on. Mac Gaming, do you know how much water condenses in the tanks for a 737? Any inputs? To be honest, I have absolutely no idea. In our aircraft, we have a nitrogen generation system anyway, in my airline, so there shouldn't be any room left for water to condense inside the tanks. However, if there is any residual water condensing there, I don't know. That is not stuff that they tell the pilots. That would be a question to ask an engineer. They would probably have a better idea. But even most engineers are probably going to tell you, yeah, no clue, ask the guys at Boeing, they should know. And McGaming, you're writing a thesis on water condensation for tanks and aircraft. Oh, well, good luck. I just have no idea on that. That would really be a question for one of the engineers and not a question for a pilot. I just know that as long as I see something positive over here, I'm good with my fuel tanks. And in the best case, I also have a look up here to make sure the fuel temperature is staying within acceptable regions. You know, that is the that's the little exaggerated version there. Currents, what is my stand towards the 737 MAX? Will my airline switch over at some point? My airline's already got a couple of MAXes, and I've actually flown one of them already. Now, what's my stand towards it? Well, it is much quieter, and therefore much nicer to fly. Apart from that, if your question is directing into the region of software trouble with the airplane, then I have absolutely no concerns there. The plane is about as safe as it gets now. I'm pretty sure the MAX is safer than, even safer than the NG now. I mean, think of it from that side. If another MAX fell from the sky, then Boeing would be totally ruined. So they, even if for a second we assume there would be some evil persons there who wanted, or who still wanted to save money on compromising on safety, even if we assume that, which I do not think is the case. But just assuming that, then if another MAX falls out of the sky due to software problems, then Boeing is probably going to be dead and gone as a company. So they can absolutely not afford that anymore. So I'm very sure that even if we take the, you know, worst possible point of view of a manager, that he only does it for the money, then even then I'm sure they would have made the MAX the safest possible airplane now. And by the way, to be absolutely clear there, I don't think that Boeing managers follow any of those attitudes. I think they want their aircraft to be as safe as possible. So I'm sure that the MAX absolutely is. Then Mario, hi, what are typical cost indexes in a 737-800? Most airlines fly somewhere between cost index 6 and cost index 30, but the tendency is definitely towards the low 10s or something like that. Retreat is 0425, quality 4025. See ya. Good evening, quality 4025, flight level 400 in Montalpi.
Quality 4025, Praha, Reda, dobry wieczór.
Quality 4025, we are running a little bit late today. You have any good shortcuts available?
Quality 4025, I was just about to call. You can expect the Victor Lima Mike 4 Sierra arrival, runway 24. You may proceed direct to Victor Lima Mike.
Victor Lima Mike 4 Sierra arrival, runway 24, direct Victor Lima Mike, quality 4024, thanks.
You're welcome.
Oh, I kinda hope for something a little bit more to the final, but it's a start. Oh, direct VLM.
And quality 4025, since my airspace now is not very useful, change the frequency to 118.375, which I will take over in about 2 minutes.
118.375, quality 4025, yep. Hello, quality 4025, flight level 400 in Victor Lima Mike. Okay, he's probably gonna call us back on this frequency in 3 minutes, as he said that he's about to change over. So, we'll just stay here and wait for his answer. So, let's see, what kind of shortcuts can we expect over here? I'm sure there will be something in it. You know what, let's just do the following. We go VLM direct to the center fix. That gives us level 155 at VLM. And then we can do another shortcut a little bit later. That is 572 towards the center fix. I'm sure that we're not going to fly anything longer than this. So, I'm pretty sure this is going to be the longest we will fly. That makes it level 77 at this waypoint. Okay, final approach course 240, set on both sides, frequency 109.1. Okay, ETOPS 120, are the primary radios always managed on the captain's side? Yes, absolutely. Radio number 1 is always for ATC communication, radio number 2 is for the guard frequency, for the HOTAS, or maybe if we have to call any controller ahead. So for example, when you're flying to Israel or to Jordan, you need to call them like 10 minutes before you enter their airspace and just announce, hello, I'm coming. Then they say, thank you, entry approved. And that's it. So that's the stuff you use radio number 2 for, and radio 1 is used for communication with ATC. Okay, so shortcuts are anticipated. Then let's see what we're gonna do on that runway. So this says we're gonna use 800 kilos. Let's calculate 600 due to shortcuts. There's a landing weight 42.6. Lovely. Okay. Wait a moment. 42.6. Okay. Flaps 30. Auto brake 3. First exit. As we want to go to the cargo apron. On the way, Victor Lima Mike to Papa Romeo 532 is a pretty standard shortcut in Prague for runway 24 from the south. Thanks very much for that. Let's see where that is. VLM, Papa Romeo 532. Ah yeah, I like that. I definitely like that. Let's just take 532. And already inserted.
Quality 4025 for your expeditious arrival during Papa Romeo 532.
Sorry, Papa Romeo 532, quality 4025. Hey, what's that? My FMC is not reacting anymore. Oh no, my entire panel is frozen. I can still move around, but I can't do anything anymore. Let's just see. Menu for a second. Resume. Oh no. My panel seems totally frozen. Has anybody seen that?
Quality 4025, when ready, descend flight level 1900.
Quality 4025, when ready, descent level 190. And we just seem to have some instrument problem up here. Can you confirm our distance from Victor Lima Mike right now?
Stand by, sure.
Mava says wait 1 minute. Okay, then we're just gonna wait and see what happens.
Victor Lima Mike should be 90 miles and reducing.
Quality 4025, roger. We have some frozen navigation instruments at the moment. Request to continue on the present heading and altitude, and we call you back if we're able to resume.
Quality 4025, all approved, report how I can help.
All approved, quality 4025, we call you.
Hello.
Okay, so we'll just wait for a bit and see what happens. Let's just enjoy the beautiful view from the outside. Are we in any bank or something? No, we seem to be going straight. Okay. But seems like it's still frozen. I believe I killed it with the Papa Romeo 532 when I tried to put that behind the vector leg. Yeah, let's see what's gonna happen. Maybe it just recovers after a little while. Okay. Yeah, seems like that is not recovering anymore. Encoder 101, it doesn't resolve to my knowledge. Okay, standby 1. I'll just try something. Give me a second. Okay, so we'll just about watch the plane as it flies, and with a bit of luck we might be able to get that resolved. I've just sent an ACAS message here to maintenance, or in other words, I've just sent a WhatsApp to the developer. Let's see, maybe they've got a quick idea, maybe not. We'll see about it. And Metal Eye, this is the stable release currently, so sim update 11. I'm not on the beta version, so what we are experiencing right now is the public release of the 737 and the public release of Microsoft Flight Simulator. And the way I see it, the issue was caused by trying to copy an off-route waypoint, which was the Papa Romeo point, below the vector leg. So, trying to copy this into line 3 left. This is apparently how we caused the issue. Let's just see. If I execute something, can I do anything?
Quality 15 Heavy, Vlasim for Sierra arrival, Victor Lima Mike for Sierra arrival.
No, doesn't seem like it. Okay. Well, let's see. We'll head towards Victor Lima Mike for now, and then we'll see what is about to happen or not. And Talia, I've had something similar happen to me. That is unfortunate. And Konali, maybe try to click some buttons on your stick like disengage the autopilot. Yeah, the autopilot is one thing that I want to be a little bit careful with. Because for now the autopilot is flying the plane. I know we'll have problems to land it like that anyway, but you know, I'm kinda eager to see if the autopilot is going to fly the turn by the time we overfly Victor Lima Mike. I have no idea when that's gonna be, but I guess we're going to work with ATC on that one. I have an idea of something I want to fly. Are the standby instruments working? No, okay. So literally nothing works in here. Well, you know what? Let's have a little bit of fun with this. Prague, quality 4025. Quality 4025. We have a little problem here. Basically, our entire cockpit froze up and we are unable to do any inputs anymore. I'm just wondering, would it be possible online to try to get vectors all the way down and basically try to land the plane like that, or should we rather disconnect from the network?
Quality 4025, happy to acquiesce your request. Expect a radar vector swing present heading if you can.
Quality 4025, roger. Maintain present heading if we can, and request request descent for now. We will be unable to tell what altitude we're descending to. Do you have any airports in the vicinity with VMC conditions?
Quality 4025, at this time negative. Praha is still your best bet.
Quality 4025, roger. We call you back and request descent.
Quality 4025, descent flight level 190.
Descent flight level 190, quality 4025. And we will probably not be able to maintain the level, but we'll see.
Roger, I'll let the approach controller now.
Okay, so I've pressed the autopilot disconnect button. Let's see.
Request descent.
Yeah, we can control the pitch.
Yankee, descent flight level.
And according to the sound, we can also control the engines.
Descending at level 210, 6 Yankee.
Okay, that's gonna be interesting. We have no instruments whatsoever. All we have is visual references. But there is good weather over there.
And Austrian 6 Yankee, descent flight level 150 by...
I have a feeling once we go IMC, we'll be dead.
150 by Lanus,
We need to stay VMC. So let's try to get it down like this. Quality 4025, is there any airport on our 3 o'clock position?
There's one just about at your 12 to 1 o'clock.
Quality 4025, roger. We need to maintain VMC. We don't have flight instruments anymore, so we are unable to go IMC. Seems like on our 3 o'clock there is a bit of VMC over there. How far off is your airspace over there? How far can you give us guidance to any airport in that direction?
I can give you guidance until flight level 90. Below that I don't have radar coverage.
Quality 4025, that is understood, roger. Request a turn 90 degrees to the right, and we'll try to go for an airport somewhere in that direction. The weather seems to be looking better over there.
Quality 4025 approved, no traffic in the vicinity, you are cleared to flight level 90.
Quality 4025, right turn approved, cleared flight level 90, and please report when you see us at level 100. We don't have altimeters.
Quality 4025, acknowledged, presence level indicating flight level 300 and descending.
Roger. Okay, so this is going to be a pure VMC approach now. This is going to be literally only looking outside. So what do we know? Our airspeed was at 243 knots when the thing froze. I'm not going to touch the trim, so our airspeed is going to stay round about at 250 knots. We need to find some airport that's going to be somewhere within this region over here, where there is VMC, so that we can land.
Presently passing flight level 280 when descending.
4025, roger. You have a vertical speed readout for us?
That is a good question. Let's see if I can find it.
In quality 4025, on our 3 o'clock position right now, we have a lot of VMC conditions. You have any airports with a runway of 1,500 meters or longer in that area?
3 o'clock negative, but I have 9 o'clock.
Roger, on the 9 o'clock we have exclusively IMC, so that's currently not possible. We call you back.
Quality 4025, tell you what, in about 70 nautical miles I have another military airport for you. That'd be a convenient.
You have a weather report from there?
Let me get it some way.
And quality 4025, declaring emergency.
Quality 4025,
Prague Radar, runner 5 November X-ray requesting descent.
Runner 5 November X-ray descent flight level 150, cross Nikov, flight level
Okay, somewhere off to the right over there might work out.
Descent flight level 150 could cross Mikov at 170 or below Ryanair.
And Randy, would this be a Mayday or Pan-Pan? Yeah, this is absolutely a Mayday. This is absolutely Mayday. By the way, landing gear, that is a good question. Can we open the alternate gear extension door? No, we can't. Okay. Well, we'll have to see if the gear is gonna come down. If not, we put it on the belly. Okay, weather over here is a lot better. A lot better.
Quality 4025, I have Lima Kilo Mike Tango available. Winds 210 degrees 12 knots, visibility more than 10 kilometers in light rain. Clouds of hue at 1,700, smoke and at 4,400, temperature 70.4.
Quality 4025, roger. On what direction is that airport?
That should be at your between 2 o'clock position.
Quality 4025, that seems to look good for now. We will make a turn over there. Will you be able to provide radar coverage into the airport?
I can do my best. Quality 4025, keep turning, I'll let you know when you need to be level.
We maintain in the turn, roger, quality 4025, and we keep descending as well. Currently into that direction it looks like there is little low-level cloud coverage. We'll see if we can get below the broken before it actually sets on. That might be a good option there.
Quality 4025, acknowledged. Break. Austrian 6, Yankee, Wiener Radar 134675. Ciao.
134675, Austrian 6, Yankee. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Quality 4025, wind level.
Wind level, quality 4025. Okay, that looks good. So Lima Kilo Mike Tango is set. Let's have a quick look into the approach chart to see what exactly we're expecting over there.
4025, you can expect runway 04.
Expecting runway 04 and confirm that's at Ostrava, quality 4025.
Yeah, Hey firm, that is possible. You're currently heading 130. I'll let you know when you need to turn left. You're now passing flight level 215 and descending.
Quality 4025, roger. It seems like we do have a working compass now. So confirm heading 140.
Hey firm.
Roger. Okay, so there's one thing in this cockpit that works. That's the compass. Hey! We've got something that works. Very nice. Okay.
4025, fly heading 100 degrees, descent level 90.
Fly heading 100 degrees and descent level 90, quality 4025. Okay, let's see if that works. Probably won't.
Quality 15, when ready, descent flight level 170.
Still got nothing over there. So what's the heading now? 130. No, that's IMC. Quality 4025, that is IMC over there. We are unable to go there, but if we can go straight ahead for about 25 miles, we might be able to find the gap between the clouds to get below.
Approved.
Approved, 4025. Can't Metal Eye, is VOR working? No, it's not. There's pretty much nothing working there. The only thing we have right now is the whiskey compass. And now we've got to convince the captain not to drink that stuff.
Quality 4025, the airfield is about 5 nautical miles from your present destination and heading.
Quality 4025, roger. Just to confirm, is there anything off our right-hand wing?
Right, negative. You would have it a little bit left-hand side, and the airport is between 10 to 11 o'clock.
Roger. Okay, let's just go through the chart over here, but if he says there is nothing... That looks like something. Oh, Lima Kilo Tango Bravo, that might be something as well. Yeah, that thing's got a long runway. What's the weather like over there? This looks possible. Lima Kilo Tango Bravo. Quality 4025. What is the current radial and distance towards Lima Kilo Tango Bravo? And Sky 173, this is definitely a bug at the moment. This is definitely a bug. But we're trying to make our way.
Quality 4025, that's a little bit closer if you want it. It's 35 miles and it's on your right hand side.
Quality 4025, roger, we'll take that. Requester heading towards Lima Kilo Tango Bravo.
Quality 4025, fly heading 1905.
Heading 1905, quality 4025, thank you. And what's our current altitude?
Current altitude is flight level 155 and descending expect to approach on the visual runway 27.
Expect straight and visual runway 27, quality 4025. Okay, so what's the clouds doing there? Don't want to go into that. What's the heading? Heading 170. So we've got to continue the right hand turn.
Level 27, so flying at Foxtrot 50.
Lucas Arman, what radar am I on? We are on 118375, Praha radar.
0116, Praha radar, dobry wieczór.
Okay, let's see, he said we were at level 155 about a minute ago, so we're about at flight level 140 right now. Distance was 35, so probably a bit less right now. So we're definitely high on profile. But if we can see that runway, then we can definitely fly a visual approach. And that is kinda what I'm hoping for right now.
Any Tower 1116, climb flight level 300.
It should be somewhere beyond those clouds, I believe.
Quality 4025, presently passing flight level 120 and descending. The airport is currently 28 track miles and your
Quality 4025, roger, we need to proceed straight for a couple miles due to cloud coverage. Thereafter we make the right-hand turn towards the airport. Confirm you lose radar coverage at level 90 at this position.
Quality 4025, in this position it will be 70.
Quality 4025, roger. Mava, do you practice this scenario on the simulator for the type rating? No, not at all. But we do some stress testing, to call it that way. And we do some scenarios which are just not covered by any manuals. And this is exactly the case for this scenario right now. This is not covered by anything. So you just have to improvise there. Use your general aviator skills and use whatever you have available.
Tower 1116, contact radar frequency 129 and 41, goodbye.
Okay, that looks like we're clear of the clouds now. 28 miles out, should be a good glide in.
Quality 4025, presently passing flight level 100.
Quality 4025, roger.
Quality 4025, do you have the airport in sight?
4025, we have one airport that is on our 12 o'clock, but that is more like 10 miles or something.
Ava, that is the mentioned airport that you have. It's currently 20 miles.
Quality 4025, roger. Is there anything else in between? Because we see a runway straight ahead, but that's definitely closer.
There's a military airfield, but the runway is too short for your aircraft type, unfortunately. So the one that you're going to is the earliest one.
Quality 4025, roger. And we see a highway off our left side. Do you by any chance know if that's going towards the airport?
Quality 4025, Ava, we can follow the highway that should go to the airport.
4025, roger. We'll follow the highway.
Quality 4025, roger. Report when you see the airfield and the runway.
Wilco.
Quality 4025, currently radar coverage is lost, so I'll need you to let me know once you have the airfield in sight.
Quality 4025, Wilco. Okay, now we are all visual. The terrain looks good straight ahead, so we're just gonna follow that highway now. Talia Johnson, IFR, I follow road. I love it. I love it. IFR, I follow road. That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Quality 15, contact Praha radar frequency 127575, goodbye.
1275.
Okay, I have a feeling we're getting a little low. Let's just add a bit of thrust. You can't even see that, but we can hear it. So I'm not gonna trim or anything, I've just put in a little bit of thrust. And that should hopefully, more or less, get me to maintain my level.
X-ray inbound Marbot requesting further descent.
Ryanair 5 November X-ray, my apologies. Contact 134675. Goodbye.
Okay, what's the heading right now?
It's okay. 134675.
225.
Ryanair 5 November X-ray.
The runway down there is... a runway 27, okay, so the runway is going to be like 45 degrees offset. I see it. Quality 4025, runway inside.
Quality 4025, cleared visual approach, runway 27.
Good visual, runway 27, quality 4025. Okay, idle thrust. Basically, the way I'm flying the plane right now is I haven't changed the trim since we left our cruising level. And the plane was trimmed for 242 knots in cruise, so I'm relying on it to stay within that trim speed. So I know that I'm roughly doing 240 knots. Okay, where's my airport? There it is. That's of course going to be quite interesting.
4025, the winds are reporting calm, the QNH 905, sector Pascal, runway 27.
Okay, gear down.
Clear to land.
Runway 27, clear to land, quality 4025. Okay, let's see, is the gear coming down? No. Actually, yes it is. It just doesn't show in the visual model. But we can clearly see by the flight dynamics here that we've got the extra drag of the gear. We can clearly feel we have it. It's just not showing visually, since none of the rest of the cockpit is moving either. But in terms of the flight dynamics, the gear is definitely down. Okay, let's just go ahead and select some flaps. Flap 1. Flap 5. I have no idea if they're actually extending. Okay, there's a couple showers right now. Let's hope that the visibility is going to stay good enough.
Lufthansa 7 Lima Alpha Praha, Reda, dobry wieczór, jest Copenhagen.
Speed seems to look okay. It's pitching up, using a little bit less thrust.
7 Lima Alpha identified, climb flight level 34.
Okay, flaps 15, or so I hope. No idea if it's actually doing it.
Ryanair 4450.
Okay, we are quite slow, flaps 30. You can feel the flaps are coming. See how my pitch is changing there, how I'm fighting against that. So, aerodynamically, we get the effects, even though nothing is indicating in the flight deck. Okay, but I would say by looking outside our speed seems good. We are a little bit high right now.
Flight level 170, cross Ottoman, flight level 210 or below.
Definitely coming in a bit high.
Descent to level 170, Ryanair 4450.
Okay, back on glide. Okay, welcome to the Czech Republic. Quality 4025. Well, we survived the landing, but we're gonna log off at this point. thank you so much for your great services, and I'm very much looking forward to see you next time, hopefully in a working airplane.
Quality 4025, that was nice actually, very interesting. And yeah, hope to see you soon. Ciao ciao.
Thank you very much, and if you want to see a replay, you can be sure I'll have the thing up on my YouTube channel 737NG Driver very soon.
Quality 4025, if you don't mind, just send that to me in private message and I'll be sure to take a look.
Absolutely, you'll get the link to the live stream right now, and the video will be up later. Thank you very much, and see ya.
Ciao.
Alright guys, that is what I call a day. Well, we've made it onto the ground. I'm absolutely surprised by that, even though I'm not gonna touch anything anymore. So, with that said, thank you very much for watching, guys. Oh yeah, landing report. Very good point, Metal Eye. You're gonna get the landing report, that's for sure. I want to see how that flight looked like anyway. And I promised the controller I'm going to send him the link to the live stream, so here's that for him. Okay, so let's get the landing report. And Kanali, €5 donation. You deserve that coffee. Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you very much, my friend. Okay, so let's see that landing report. Sim Toolkit Pro. 205 feet a minute. Finish flight. Okay. Okay, so let's have a look what we actually flew there. Okay. So this is pretty much the route that we flew straight towards that VOR. Over here it seemed to have started... No, that was the direct to that new VOR. But it went straight, okay. And then we went off in a right-hand turn there, searching for that visual, searching for that airport, searching for that airport. Over here we finally got vectors, went around the clouds over here. And then we flew the visual down here. Well, that was quite a ride, wasn't it? Okay, so let's view the landing report and see what that thing looked like. Give me the full report, please. Oh! Right on the marker. Right on the marker, 200 feet a minute. Speed 125 knots. I would say that was about perfect for the weight at which we flew. Yeah. Honestly, guys, that was a perfect landing. That was an absolutely perfect landing. Okay. This was fun. I mean, we don't need to do that again. We really don't need to do that again anytime soon. But, yeah. G Walker, as you say, you can brag this to your friends. Yeah, that's definitely something. Alright. And at that point, my friends, thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I hope that you well, have learned something, I guess. So, thank you very much, everyone, and I'm looking forward to see you all again, hopefully very soon, and then with a working airplane. Coda 101, empty external view, yeah, here it is. Here we are. How do they call these things again in Star Wars? The repulsor engines? Keeping us up here? We should tell Boeing to build in some of those. But anyway, gonna keep it at that. Thank you very much, guys. See you all again, hopefully very, very soon for a, let's call it, well, less exciting live stream. So, thank you very much, guys, and